And wrong one. There we go. Come on, you can see the game. You can do it. You can do it. There it is. Welcome back to the letter. I know I said I'd be back on Friday, but I didn't because I didn't want to. But I'm here now. We are playing as Ashton, almost second to last person here. I do not think I'm going to get through his story because holy crap, he's got one of the longest so far, and Luke might be even longer. But we're going to see how far I can actually get in this video. And I'm assuming we're going to see some relationships develop in this playthrough as Ash. Because this is the morning after the... Where is it? Where is it? This one? Nope. Saturday... Nope. Friday. Friday. It's Saturday morning right now. So this is the day after the party happened and all this nonsense happened. And he stayed at Rebecca's house. And they're supposed to have a talk this morning. So hopefully something gets discussed because they're annoying. I just need to be honest. And let me just double check my relationships currently. See, look, he's got to be made for Zach. He's perfect for Zach. Yeah, everyone else is pretty good. The morning after the party starts quiet. Even the whole of Salemwell residences seem unusually still. The open hallway, when I step out, is devoid of tenants, no sounds coming from the other units either. It's almost as if something's brewing on the horizon. A peaceful night's sleep still does wonders for the mood, though. I can't even remember the last time I've slept without anything urgent interrupting. It's a nice break from all the bad news lately. If it wasn't for the incessant buzzing in my pocket waking me up, I'd sleep in. The ringing has stopped before I could move somewhere private, but sleep has also been effectively kicked out of my system by then. Pity, I could use a little more rest until I have to face the other storm. Of course I owe Rebecca an explanation, yeah. It doesn't matter if it's the whole truth or a hastily spun tale, although I haven't really figured out how to go about this yet. Unlike Zach and Isabella, who don't usually ask questions and are content with what little I can share, Rebecca's rather quick on the trigger. It will have to be set aside for later, though. God damn it, Ash! You're supposed to talk. You promised to talk. The chief's name stares back at me, almost as if it's mocking me. Of course, he's got a broken phone. It would have been nice to just chill after last night, or maybe half listen to the news. Sure, it's the same thing we've been hearing lately. Still beats standing outside in this chilly Luxborn morning on the phone with my boss. Sighing, I answer it, if only to get it over with.
Where are you right now?
Sleeping? Now that's a tone I didn't expect from him at this hour. Just thinking how this will go already gives me a headache. Immediately, I reach up and pinch the bridge of my nose to stave it off.
This is why I won't ever drink myself senseless.
What was that?
Nothing, Chief. A pleasant morning to you, too.
He's probably calling to rag on me or complain about his wife, which is really none of my business unless it affects my case. It seems like the usual rich man cheats on wife deal. Although I would have followed up on it if it were somebody else's wife. But figuring it's the chief's, hey, I trust him to come clean if the missus is related to the right shady dealings. This is why I left before they even hauled the woman out last night. I'm not going to go around investigating cheating husbands and wives, and it's probably just that. Chief appears to have a different idea in mind, though.
There's nothing pleasant in the morning. Anyway, where are you? I told you millions of times before to keep your lines open.
Chief, calm down. He did, and not only him. Zach, Rebecca, Isabella, all of them have said the same thing numerous times in the past. But I was undercover last night. A phone call is the last thing I want to happen when there are other things I need to focus on at the time. Besides, we have radios and work-issued phones. Why isn't he using those channels if this is urgent?
Just woke up, sir. As awesome as it is to hear your voice this morning, it really is early. If you could give me a few minutes just to wake myself up, that'd be swell.
No need for that. This won't take long.
Then talk
Is
already.
something wrong? Am I needed at the precinct ASAP?
Oh no, everything's good over there. Just look, kid. Pray. Don't take this personally, alright? You're off the Luxborn firm case. Starting today.
Sounds about right. I wonder if it's because he saw the chief's wife threaten the rights about being pregnant by the husband. I wonder if he's just trying to keep him out of the business now. Well, I did not expect to hear that either. This must be some kind of cosmic joke. I'll allow some awkward seconds to pass. The chief must be pulling another one of his awful pranks. Out of his bad mood or a severe hangover, maybe. Everyone knows that when given the chance, he exercises no control with his drinking. If it wasn't for his wife causing a stir, he'd probably be trashed on an hour in at the party. He likely drank more after they threw her out of the ballroom. Besides, his sense of humor has never been good, and it's just infuriating most of the time. But when he doesn't follow it up, if I sound a tiny bit frustrated speaking to my own superior, I'm not the one to
Wait,
blame.
no. What? Are you kidding, Chief? Is this one of your practical jokes again? The temps won't say anything about it, but
It's not that. They're orders. From the higher-ups.
I doubt that. I feel like it's the chief. Ah, the higher-ups. Yes, my favorite word. Since when did the higher-ups ever care about what criminal investigation the department did? As far as I could tell, they don't give a hoot if Sid is filled with cold cases as long as we keep the spending low. When I need to view those old case files, though, they're locked away in the archives. You're gonna have to check with the higher-ups. I need to access the reports, see if the higher-ups would allow it. Every step, every move in this case. There isn't one yet that hasn't been gated by some authority. If it's not the chief, it's the commissioner, or so they always tell me. It makes me wonder why they even bothered assigning it to anyone. Not a single one of them has done anything to help move the case. And they wonder why it's taken forever for even a hint of progress to show.
you can't just drop this on me. You can't just take me off like that.
Yes, I can.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sorry, Ashton. You're a good detective. One of the best I've seen in years, but
3 years, Chief. 3 years.
He's dedicated 3 years to this shit? That's annoying. 3 years since that anonymous tech leak blew up. Since Luke Wright's name was openly linked to several nasty dealings within Luxburn's corporate world, some of them involving deaths. 3 years, and I was the only one who made it this far, made much progress that officers with more experience weren't able to do when they handled this case. Just within a year, and with barely any help from the damn brass at that. Of course I'll be
Do you
pissed.
know what would have happened if I didn't work my ass off on this thing? If I didn't dedicate a whole year of my time on it, it would have gone cold. Like every fucking case Luke Wright has been linked to. I saved this from getting thrown into the archives, sir. I'm getting close. If you could just...
I'm fully aware of what you've done, Frey. But the Commissioner hasn't been happy with your progress.
They say that.
Still too slow by their standards.
Pretty sure it's just because they were paid off.
Too slow? Well, what about those reports I filed? I've documented every freaking thing for them. I've given you every important lead I can gather. Isn't that enough?
They need results, not a bunch of research papers. Not one baseless assumption after another.
That's true.
Concrete proof, Frey. I'm really sorry. They've already made a decision. They're going to pass this on to someone who's been in the force longer. Someone who has more experience.
Someone who has more experience?
They meant nothing by it, but you're still too young to work on a case this
They
big.
obviously meant something by it, which is why they said with more
Chief,
experience.
I've already done more than what those old farts ever did behind their desks. All of it, within just a year of being assigned to this.
Watch your language, Frey. Those are your superiors,
I'm not some damn rookie fresh out of training. I'm as qualified as they are.
Futile, I know it is. They never say it within my earshot, but from the very minute I stepped into their precinct, the lot of them have underestimated me. From their stares alone to the assignments I get. To them, I'm still just a kid. Too young, too green, too inexperienced. And once they pull that card on me, every argument I have gets thrown out the window. No matter how logical it is, how much I've accomplished, what the records say, or the amount of work I've put into every investigation they've thrown my way.
Aware of your skills, kid. You wouldn't have that badge and rank if you weren't good enough. However, this case is just not for you. Too high profile, too risky to put a good officer like you in harm's way.
So put a bad officer in harm's way? That makes no sense. Can he even hear himself? That reasoning is odd in itself. No one joins the line of work without knowing the dangers
Don't
of
I get a
it.
second chance? You said it yourself. I'm a good detective. It'll just be a matter of time before we can close this.
It doesn't matter what I think, Frey. You're off the case, and that's final. I expect all related files and documents on my desk by Monday morning. And don't even try to go touch anything. I know how hard-headed and determined you are.
Chief, please. A few more weeks. I'll have the proper evidence left on your desk by then. I swear it won't take longer than that.
Afraid it's too late, boy. I've already informed the other officers. You aren't to be allowed access until you've been given a new assignment. Hell, just keep out of the precinct, Frey. Take the weekend off.
That makes no sense. He can't even go into work until he's given a new assignment. Who does that? Is that normal? That doesn't feel normal.
Seriously, Chief, is this about last night? If this is about me being at that party, I have a good reason for...
You were at the party.
He didn't even notice. It makes me pause. His wary tone, the sudden careful note in his voice. Slowly a frown forms in my face, my eyebrows knitting together in confusion, much as I hate to say this about my own boss, but there's also suspicion in it. Hard not to think of it that way, seeing how he acted around Hannah Wright last night. Is he worried? Why should he be? Anyone was invited, and I didn't doubt for a second why he'd receive an invite, even if his presence was questionable. There's something wrong, and I've unintentionally walked into it. All I have is a sneaking suspicion, but when one looks at this from a different angle and puts everything together, why the hell I've been taken off the case might be the same reason he was there in the first place.
Yes, Chief, I was. For a good reason. What were you doing there? I know we don't have a strict rule against attending functions, but that was...
He coughs, and it almost sounds like he's choking on his own excuses. Lies? I don't want to accuse him of anything yet. He's someone I've respected since I joined the LPD, even with a bizarre sense of humor and tendency to procrastinate. He's obviously competent enough to get the job done. He wouldn't be Chief Inspector of Luxbourne Police if he wasn't. He wouldn't last years in service with some track record backing him, or because he's paid off and people like him in his position because he looks the other way on crimes. Like normal? Like normal. Unless that too is a fluke and what's backing him is not something but someone. Thank you. Oh.
Chief Harvey, about last night with the...
Why does it matter, Frey? This isn't about that.
Why does it matter? Why does it matter? I'll recite the whole damn oath we've taken upon being sworn into service if I can, but at this point it seems too late to remind him of that. He's probably already moved from serving and protecting people to serving and protecting his own interests. Oh yeah. Damn it. I've suspected the upper brass of this, even the lower rank subordinates in the force, but from my own boss? Yeah, no wonder the leak didn't lead anywhere. Someone closer might have been pulling the strings. I might have been set up to fail all along before the fucking case had been assigned to me. Yes, you were. But I don't want to just give this up. I don't want to believe I've wasted an entire year for this. I don't want this to be the kind of news that the Professor Clark after all those promises I've given the man.
I just want to know, sir, at the party, with Luke and Hannah Wright, you were...
Monday, Detective Inspector. First thing in the morning.
Why would he think you'd get anything?
Every copy of the files you have, I want to see it all on my table. Understood?
This isn't...
Frey, am I understood?
What else can I do other than smile and nod? With my own... Why nod on this phone? You're on a phone, he can't see you. With my own superior expecting an answer using that tone, brushing my questions off as easy as discarding a dead body.
Yes, sir.
He cuts the line as soon as the words are out. But it's still counting the call time. You're off the case, Frey, just like that. Funny why it still caught me off guard. I discovered years ago how different the actual thing is, how far from reality everything I've believed in as a dreamy-eyed kid. There are no high-speed pursuits every day, no thrilling gunfights or exciting cases every step of the way. Only paperwork, lots of red tape, and dealing with politics and bureaucracy. I've set out to change things, hoping it'll make things better for the people I care about, and it ended up changing me instead. Serves me right for being too idealistic, I guess. This is probably the universe telling me that it's better to remain the skeptic I really am. Now here I am, standing useless, can't even do anything but grit my teeth and kick the wall. I know it said something. Ashton Frey received a call and got kicked. Zachary's nightmares. And that's when he met Kylie. And this is later. Oh no, that's when he went back to they went to Zach's house after this. The bastard didn't even acknowledge my responses.
What did the poor wall ever do to you?
Everything, Rebecca. Figures Rebecca would be the one to find me in this embarrassing state. Honestly, I don't like it when she sees me like this, which seems to happen a lot regardless of what
Rebecca,
I want.
Now's not a good time.
The concern that I expect from her when I turn isn't there, however. Yeah, she's angry. Instead, she just looks, well, the storm I left brewing last night, it's right there on her face, ready to be unleashed.
When is it ever a good time for you? You're always so busy with everything now. Now I find you here, sneaking out without even bothering with a proper goodbye. Not even a word. Really, I'm starting to think you're just keeping me around from my couch and my cooking.
Becca, it's not what you're thinking. I wasn't planning on sneaking out. I was going to say goodbye. I just had to take this call. Although, I'm not gonna lie, couch is great. 10 out of 10, would sleep again.
Stop it with the jokes, Ashton. I'm not in the mood.
Her bitterness is not lost on me, but at this point of our friendship and our lives, how does she still expect me to answer that? What am I supposed to tell her now?
Are you still mad about last night?
Yes. She merely raises an eyebrow at me, which, to be honest, is all the response I need. Seeing her like this makes me believe the things Z-Man says, the part where Rebecca scares him. Sometimes. I've certainly seen this more than once already, but the familiarity of it doesn't really take away from the downhill turn this conversation's starting to take. Only an awkward cough serves as my way to stall.
Of course you're still mad, but whatever happened last night, I really am sorry. I'll apologize as many times as you want. If you want, I'd even kneel or something.
Ashton, an apology is nice and all, but that's not what I wanted to hear from you today.
Alright, fine, okay. Where do you want to start?
Oh, I don't know. I've honestly lost track of it by your third trip to the buffet table.
I wasn't... The drive up there took a bit. Can you blame me if I wanted to grab some appetizers?
Oh, come on, Ash! For the whole evening? For the whole party? Please don't tell me that's all you did, because I've never known you as someone who pigs out. You even took great lengths to avoid me. Should I also mention how you ignored Zach? Sometimes I get the feeling you don't want to be seen with us in public. Some friendship, huh?
You know it's not like that. It's never going to be like that, Becca.
I'll ask this again. Just what were you up to during the party?
Where are we? Holy crap, this is just straight away. What are all these extra things that could have happened with our conversation? What does this mean? What is this? I don't know. What are these? What's this? What's this? Oh, I get to make a decision.
What were you doing that you couldn't even take 2 seconds to make time for your friends?
If I don't even choose to pick the honest option, I'm going to be angry. I couldn't even look her in the eye. It wasn't that I wanted to avoid them. I did to keep Zach safe and to keep Rebecca safe, just in case. Client or family friend, it was still a party hosted by the person of interest, by a man accused years ago of murdering a person's wife to get what he wanted. But then the chief showed up, Hannah Wright happened, and Luke Wright just happened to be can't be bothered to die peacefully somewhere. All of a sudden, none of my original reasons mattered. If I was found out right then and there, hell, if Zach or Rebecca's connection with me was found out, who knows what might have happened. But Rebecca doesn't understand that, doesn't understand what I can and can't say to keep them from harm. It's all in her eyes and the tight line of her lips and her furrowed brows, the hurt. This day is just off to a wonderful start. First my case, and now Becca. Stretch the truth, insist it's confidential. I don't like either of these. That went down? No, go back in time. No, don't save again. Load it. I gotta.
It's confidential, Rebecca.
Thank God. Their relationship's already on the borderline. I don't want it to be terrible, but I don't want it to be great. I wonder how many times I've told her that. And not just her, my dad, my mom, Zach, and even Isabella. I like how he put Isabella in italics because he's like, How many times have I told them what essentially boiled down to mind your own business, to make sure they're all safe and to keep them out of danger? My job isn't a game. It isn't as glamorous as the television portrays it to be. I had thought so too as a child. I was so clueless back then, wasn't I? But boy, did I learn. The good guys don't always win. Justice isn't always served. Investigation is not looking at a crime scene once to get a eureka moment. It's sleepless nights at the crime lab with the tech guys. It's several days wearing the same clothes with Chinese takeout stains because I'm staking out a place. It's frustration when the bureaucracy hinders you from looking into a case any further, or when you know the suspect is guilty but they get away scot-free on a technicality. It's seeing anger and pain and despair with every case.
You have a mountain of questions, but I've told you this so many times before.
That's why I don't recommend anyone be a police officer or a detective, because God, the frustration that comes with it would just be so stressful.
I can't say much more than that.
Still, the look on Rebecca's face, the resentment and the pain, it hurts me as well to think that I'm the cause of that. It's a familiar one too, something I've seen a lot over the years. I wonder how long it'll take before Zach starts giving me the same one, or until I've hurt Isabella in a way that a sincere apology won't be enough. What a mess. I'm a mess, and the people close to me have to suffer for it. Yeah, you are a freaking mess. Oh my God, we went this way. Oh, I like how it unlocked this one because I already clicked on it, but I didn't go any farther.
I guess, if that's the case, there's nothing much I can do about it. You're off being a hero, I guess? And I shouldn't rag on you for that.
I can never get used to how quick she just forgives me for whatever shitty thing I do. Zach and Isabella, too. They've all been patient with me, unlike I with them. Yeah, seriously, you really need to calm your tits down with your friends. I don't deserve any of them for the kind of person I've turned out to be.
I'm hardly a hero, Becca. I'm just... Ash.
Ash hole, that's what you are. I expect a retort, another one laced with bitterness. Instead, she laughs. Half-hearted, with barely a hint of cheer, but a laugh. I honestly don't know what to make of that and what to do with myself upon hearing it. It's almost like the mere sound of it is meant to pierce.
The least you could have done is tell me. Maybe I could have helped. Kept an ear and an eye out for you. I don't know. I could have been Irene Adler, maybe?
Her smile doesn't quite reach her eyes, but the mask, she tries so hard for me. I give her a smile of my own, though. I imagine it comes off as unenthusiastic as hers. It's far easier to slip back to banter when it's like this, to just brush everything off. At least this way, we wouldn't have to deal with awful things.
Woman? Don't flatter yourself. Nancy Blue, more like.
Her sidekick would beg to differ, Ashette.
I couldn't stop a why? I don't know, grin from forming in my lips. She probably still has the photo from that contest and keeps it in her old diary. I never did find either of the two after I threatened to burn them. In the end, I just never brought it up again, hoping she'd forget about the whole thing. With a small file on her face says a lot. Those were good times, a lot simpler and a lot more peaceful. Now things have changed, and we're no longer the same people we were as kids. Growing up together doesn't mean that it always has to be just the two of us in the first place. It's a dumb notion to believe in, when nothing ever remains constant. Things will inevitably change through the years. In fact, it already has long ago, not just with people we allowed into our respective lives, but also with us as people and as friends. It really does get complicated as we get older, doesn't it? Not everything has to be, though, even if it's a form of a promise. I have an idea when I'll be able to
I
fulfill.
swear, I'll explain when it's all over. ...
The silence afterwards brings an even heavier air between us. Something that Rebecca thankfully doesn't allow to linger more than necessary.
I suppose you have to go now, huh?
The situation's already awkward as it is. Dragging this out will only make it more, what? Difficult? Messed up? As if it isn't
Back to
already.
your case again?
I don't really have to. I have no case as far as the job is concerned. I have the weekend off until I have to report on Monday. Although I don't want to just throw in the towel on this. Orders are orders. This isn't like the movies. I don't get to say fuck off and throw my gun and badge at him because some vigilante and save the day and get my job back. I'd rather get my ass thrown in jail than do any of that. But it's also not in my nature to sit still and do nothing. It'll drive me crazy if I just idle about. Besides, there's someone who has to know about this whole Luke Wright thing.
I need to go talk to Professor Clark. And there's something else I need to look into.
That other matter she mentioned last night specifically. The same stuff Zachary has been trying to tell me. The things even the news have been blasting out to the general populace lately. Evening, afternoon, morning, all deaths with the same motives blamed on a single serial killer. Or is it still the case? Someone else died? That's right, another person died that was a co-worker of Isabella's. We're grasping at straws as far as these murders are concerned. In the first place, I'm not even the one heading the investigation, yet look at me treating it as if it's another high-profile case on my shoulder. How sad is that? Although all three of my friends have mentioned seeing something strange, I don't want to go to that line of thinking for now. Not yet, not until I've exhausted every logical argument I could throw at it. To be honest, though, I don't know how to take all of this anymore, but I've already given Isabella my word. It would bother me more if I didn't follow up on a promise I made to her. And after Rebecca's claims last night, there won't be enough sarcasm in the world if what my friends have been telling me is true. I can already hear Isabella's laughter, in fact.
What else can it be?
It's not another case. It's something else. That issue Isabella mentioned yesterday morning. I'm sure you remember. You were there.
Well, at least you're not neglecting all your friends.
You just favor Isabella because you want to go kissy with her.
Becca, I promised her I'll...
She doesn't wait for me to finish. With a roll of her eyes, she turns around and shuts the door in my face. Good. I have no idea what I've said this time, but... I
probably deserve that.
Yeah, you do. How is he this dumb to not notice that Becca has liked him this whole time? He is the most... I don't even know a word to describe him. He's so dumb. We'll just have to fix this some other time. By then, her temper's sure to have cooled off significantly. Hopefully. Let's look at this. So he gets called off. He talks to Rebecca, and then he goes with Isabella to Zach's place. Yeah. For now, I can't laze around. Gotta attend to things that matter more. Professor Clark first, deliver bad news. The issue with BRC and Isabella. Maybe drop by Zach, check on him, and hear what he has to say, and read that damn letter. What letter? The help me one? Has also been saying odd things about a bunch of photographs. I might as well while I'm here. Playing a paranormal detective, or was it supernatural? I can't remember. Whatever, it wouldn't hurt anyone if I tried to get to the bottom of this. If nothing comes out of it, good. Everyone can shut up about stupid curses and we can finally get back on track with our lives. On to more important stuff. If there is something...
Done.
There's a moment of confusion when I don't see her familiar ponytail about, only to find her standing behind the door to her apartment seconds later. Isabella holds it open, though only slightly, as if to hide from anyone who might happen to pass by. This early and on a lazy weekend, I doubt that anyone would, but from the gap in what little light there is behind her, I can make out the appearance of someone who has just clearly gotten from bed. Hair in a complete disarray, eyes still heavy with sleep, and a small pout on her lips. She hasn't even gotten out of her pajamas. Oh my goodness, this boy... I look away long before my sense of decorum kicks in. We might be friends. I'll even dare say we've grown closer over the years, but that doesn't extend beyond the bounds of propriety? There we go. Christ, even Rebecca never greets early visitors in her sleep clothes. Though maybe it's our fault why she's up this early. Still, heat makes a slow crawl up my neck, one that I quickly downplay as a solid cough.
Isabella, you're up early.
And I'm a little flustered. Lame.
No, I'm not. I'm usually up at this hour.
Mm-hmm.
You're the one that usually sucks at getting up early.
According to Rebecca, Isabella's up since like 4 a.m.
Says the person who looks like she's just fallen out of bed.
Instead of the usual quip, she simply averts her gaze to some point beside her, and although it only flashes briefly across her face, an expression of hurt flickers in her eyes. It disappears the second she turns her attention back to me, but that moment has sent a worried twinge in my stomach. I've seen it on her plenty of times before, just never in a manner that unsettles. It feels, I don't know, off this time? I didn't say anything wrong, did
Hey,
I?
are you...
Anyway, was that Becca with you? You both sound like Mama and Papa when they fight.
Mhm.
You're awfully loud. If we get another memo from the landlady, I'm asking the guard to ban you from ever entering this place.
That's a fair thing.
Me? Becca's the one almost shouting.
Yeah, well, she lives here. You don't.
Mm-hmm.
You have no excuse. You're the suspicious-looking person.
Thanks. Glad at least one person appreciates how I pretty up this place.
Don't flatter yourself. This place would be so much better without having to see your face every few days.
She follows it up with another pout, but her ruffled appearance, particularly how puffy her eyes are, I noticed just now takes away from the intimidating effect she's trying to show. Really, right now she looks more like an angry puppy. I might have laughed had it not given me another nagging sense that something is definitely wrong with her. What, has she been crying earlier? That's definitely worrying. She rarely does that. The only time it happened, the one time I've seen her genuinely tear up over something, I think it was after Devlin Court, the night, which is when they met, which is when she sold a house that had a dead body in it. I want to ask. She seems determined to keep it to
Well,
herself, though.
did something?
About yesterday, Ash. The things we talked about. Do you think we can take a look at it today?
We? I never said you're coming with me.
Too bad.
Don't worry. I didn't forget about it. You'll be the first to know if I find anything.
No, I want to go with you. I'll be ready in a few. This won't take long.
Isabella, you really don't have to. I can handle it on my own. You'll just...
I won't get in the way, I promise. Besides, maybe I can help. You know, if there are files you want to check.
I don't like what she's implying. It's true LPD is having a hard time with this, but taking Isabella with me, it's out of the question. Under normal circumstances.
You're the one who's going to get in trouble if you do that.
You said it yourself. You need information, and I can help you get that.
So she wants to get the files from her work.
And it's not like it matters anymore. I just don't want to stand around doing nothing today.
There it is again, the slight shift in her eyes, the mild crease forming between her eyebrows, and the mild slump on her shoulders while she crosses her arms tightly around herself, like she's shielding herself from whatever painful thing there is out there. I have plenty of reasons why I shouldn't let her tag along. First and foremost, she's a civilian. Second, I have no concrete plan of action yet, and I'm going into this blind. No matter how I look at this, it's simply better for her to just wait so she won't be dragged into what might be another one of my failures. Her assumptions might be a dead end for all we know, but seeing that expression on her, hearing her speak those words out loud in a desperate, almost pleading tone, I can't bring myself to say no. So I give in, because right there I see myself in her. The person who doesn't want to stay idle, who doesn't want to think of the problems haunting him.
All right, 5 minutes.
What? You're timing me?
Well, I can't wait forever. I'm a very busy guy. 4 minutes and 45 seconds, Isabella.
I hate you so much. I'm taking back what I said last week. You haven't changed at all.
4 minutes and 30 seconds, 29, 28. I'd hurry if I were you.
Ugh, you're awful. I hope you never get a girlfriend.
She slams the door right after, although my chuckles, the mirth and the lightness in it linger. With her, those have always come easy somehow, even as it echoes fade and the ghost of a smile
It's not like
remains.
I'm looking for anyone else.
Okay, that was cute. I want to tell her. Well, you need to tell her. You should have been honest with Rekka, too. Oh, that's a cute little drawing of her pajamas. They're not even that, like... And that she has that stuffed animal, too. She has that sheep thingy stuffed animal. That's adorable. It's not because I can't. I won't. I'm the one who has chosen not to until I fixed myself. Until I found myself underneath all the guilt and those lies I've been telling all those years. Because no matter how heavy the weight of these feelings are, I'm not worthy of them, of her. Until then, little words and gestures are the only things I can offer. Minor stuff such as digging deeper into this thing with the BRC in order to ease her worries. I'm not even sure if this will give us anything, unlike with the firm case, which I already had proper leads on. I'm just going by her word on this. Speaking of the Luxborn firm case, I still have to inform the professor. The apprehension's there for sure. I've made a lot of promises to the man, and I would have preferred to tell him in person, not over the phone. But it's better for him to hear it from me rather from a stranger. The railings offer a steady support while I wait for him to answer. I'd like to think I can do this without losing my nerve. My grip on the bars surely tightens, though, once my call connects. I thought he wanted to actually go visit him, but I guess a phone call works, too.
Not running today, Professor?
He's usually at the park, like Saturday mornings, as long as it isn't raining cats and dogs. Keeps him young and healthy, he says, and he's certainly fit for a man of his age with a sedentary job.
Oh, no, not today.
Because he's secretly like Batman. No, I'm kidding. He's definitely at the usual place, though. Cheers and laughter, likely from children and families, filter through the receiver. I tend to avoid the park precisely because of this. No use reminding myself of the could-haves when it's already over. Mom's doing well with her career. Dad's also fine the last time I visited, although neither remarried. They're both content with their lives as is. I'm probably the only one still caught up with it, hence my aversion. But all in all, it's still a pleasant sight to see, if you're the kind who takes joy in such sights like Professor Clark
Just
does.
thought I'd enjoy the nice weather before it takes a turn for the norm again. To what do I owe the pleasure?
The guy certainly seems happy right now. In any case, I almost want to break the news. But it's better to get this off quick as long as he doesn't shoot the messenger. He's not the type, however. Long-held resentment can change a person, even someone as mild-mannered as the
I was
professor.
hoping to talk to you about the, the case.
As soon as I say those words, he pauses and the lightness in his voice is gone. Every time we've talked about it, he does that. He's probably trying to gauge the situation based on my tone. Perhaps it's a good thing I'm delivering this news through the phone. Who knows what he'd say in my face. The art of keen observation, I learned it from this man. He probably already has an idea of what this might be about from my manner of speaking.
You aren't in trouble, are you?
Kinda. For a second I hesitate, looking at the dirt. But I manage eventually. After a long draw of breath, I pick up where I left off, fumbling with my words.
I'm in a bit of trouble, if you can call it that.
Ashton,
He only assumes that tone when there's a reprimand at its heels.
But I'm not in danger or anything.
you've said that same excuse a million times before, Detective Inspector. That exhausted rasp in your voice tells a different story.
It's nothing like what you're thinking. Don't worry. I was just... I was taken off the Luxborn firm case.
I expect anger, frustration, or even disappointment, but all in all, he gives is a small sigh of relief.
So, well, at least you aren't in danger. Liz wouldn't be too happy if she heard you right now.
Who the hell is Liz? Aunt Liz, she insisted. Oh, his wife who died. Oh, a sweet-tempered woman by so many standards. They were never blessed with kids and contented herself with simply managing their bakery. But she's the closest I had to a mom in the few years I had known her, and the professor, too. In the absence of my own parents in life, the two filled the ache that her divorce left in me.
Believe me, you'd get an earful. You don't want to show up on her doorstep looking like you haven't slept a wink either.
How many years has it been since? 9? 10? I can still remember it vividly. Two men, primly dressed, briefcases in hand, and a stern look on each of their faces. They were already frequent visitors to the bakery for a few months, something about the lot being a prime property for downtown Luxburn. I think they were hoping to settle a deal with him, but neither of the couple gave in to their demands, and why should they? That quiet little shop was a dream. Aunt Liz sent me home early that night after a fruitless wait for the professor. The next morning, news of a bakery razed to the ground had spread across the whole city in one casualty. A few weeks later, the property was sold to Wright Enterprise. A fucking hotel now stands in its place. Of course, an investigation was launched after the incident. The name Luke Wright was briefly at the center of it, but with the lack of any evidence, the case ultimately went cold. So that's why the professor is so angry with Luke. He blames him for his wife dying. Professor hides it well, however, I can tell that he hates the man to this day. He might even blame Luke for every tragedy that happens in this city. He's never blamed me, though, when I'm as equally responsible. I knew something's off the moment those men stepped inside the shop. I could have saved her that night. I could have prevented anything from happening to her and called for help, and I didn't. So it continues to eat at me until today, the guilt. The Luxborn firm case would have been our chance at reopening that old case if we could prove Luke right of his crimes. Instead, we're back to square one. Yet all he asks for me are words of comfort, to think he can still be concerned about me after my carelessness, after I've broken another promise a second time. People never cease to amaze
You
me.
might think that you have failed as an officer. Or maybe you think that you have failed me.
Mm-hmm.
And you know more than anyone. I would love to see that man taken down. If anyone deserves to be tried in high court, it's him.
Only if there's evidence, though.
But I'm glad nothing's happened to you while you were working on this. That's what's most important. I'd hate to get news like that again.
Mm-hmm. Suddenly he stops. I imagine a thoughtful look flashing his eyes as he thumbs the wedding band on his ring finger before he continues, another habit of his. He has never removed it since that day, and has never thought once to remarry, even when he managed to continue with his life and return to some semblance of normalcy. It's his way of honoring her, I suppose, when he couldn't bring to justice the man responsible for his loss. Some people are just hard to forget.
It's not like another death. Yours or even his will bring back my wife.
Mm-hmm. Silence falls between us afterwards. I don't quite know what to say after that, really. Should I apologize? Show some sympathy? Going into this, I should have thought of something other than just breaking the news to him. As it is, it seems the only thing we can do is feel sorry for each other's
I
misfortunes.
apologize too.
Oh, shoot. My bad. My finger slipped. On another occasion, under the different circumstances, I might have accepted his apology,
You
but...
didn't have to. But you've already done more than any officer who has investigated this. So don't worry about this old man.
This old
Those
man.
people all have their hands full recently too. What with the upsetting news we've been getting as of late.
Yeah.
Deaths almost every day.
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure if that has anything to do with the other. It seems too big even for someone like him. But if this is that man's doing,
My God.
Professor, please.
Maybe if things around me hadn't started going beyond my control. The letter, the mansion, the supposed curse, I'd still be quick to blame it all on that bastard too. But as much as I want to keep holding him responsible for it, to add another to his list of sins, it might not be the case. Agreeing will only cut a deeper wound on the professor. I don't want him to keep clinging to his resentment for much longer. He has already gone through so many years of it. He seriously needs to stop blaming it on one person. This kind of anger, it's the sort that blinds people. Yeah, clearly the professor is blinded by it. Despite his reassurances, the bitterness still seeps into every syllable he utters. It's one thing for me to act like this, but it's painful to watch someone I've considered a second father to go down this path.
Please don't apologize. It's really all right. I can try to get it back on Monday when I meet with the chief. No promises, but if not, I'll make sure to keep an ear out for any news. Chief said he's passing it on to a senior officer. I should be able to catch a few tidbits every once in a while. But I swear I won't just give up on this. I'll do everything in my power to get Aunt Liz's case reopened for you.
Promise is, again, a bad habit at this point. I wish I could do more for him. All this time I've prided myself over being the one to always know. Because suddenly, aside from the Wright and the murders plaguing the city, I have ghosts and curses to worry about. Things that are completely out of my depth. Professor Clark, in some way, things would be so much easier if we just blamed Luke Wright for all of this. At least finding evidence would be a breeze, and I'd be all too happy to put him in a place he belongs. Although if he was in any way also complicit to what's happening, legalities have my hands tied. But maybe that's my fault. I might have missed the ticket to closing the case once and for all last night if only I'd done a better job during the party. But then the commotion. There was Hannah Wright and Rebecca distracting me from my purpose too. I'd include that gatecrasher as well, even though it's only for a moment. Gatecrasher? What? So many things have gone wrong last night that... Oh!
This isn't a prank!
That's...
I saw something!
Yeah, that's what he's talking about.
See? This is why I didn't want to tell you guys!
He's talking about her.
It's not a joke! Will you guys listen to me first? I saw something in the house earlier.
Yep.
It stood right in front of me.
Because it only took him a week after seeing the haunted letter to finally see her.
If I hadn't gotten away, that thing might have...
Last night at the party.
But it's real! What do you think I saw? It happened after, when I was trying to get away. I almost got stuck in the same room with that thing. We're all in danger. I thought you were my friends. Why don't you believe me?
That woman.
Why don't we all calm down first? I'm sure Isabella has her reasons too. No need to be hard on her.
Shit. If that was what Isabella had been warning us about, if that was the same thing Rebecca talked about, or what Zach told me about a few days prior, how many of these instances have I dismissed since reading that letter? How many have I ignored and passed off as some effect of fatigue or lack of sleep? Well, I don't know, because the game started me now, so I don't know what you've been seeing this whole week. Even last night, a hallucinogen lacing the food is the first thing I considered, purely because that's what my training dictates. It's a mindset I've grown used to. It's a setting of the gears in my head automatically takes in a situation like that. Of course, I'm not discounting all of that yet until I have found enough information, something to form a conclusion from. Proof in whatever form it may come. But thinking straight is impossible when all of a sudden all your beliefs are being upturned in the most violent way possible at that. Jesus, I need a sounding board. I need to talk to someone, and Zach's the best person for that.
I have to go, Professor.
Oh, no problem.
Yep.
But what are you...
Okay. I don't have time to stop and listen to the professor has to say as I cut the call short. Hey, she's dressed. She looks cuter in her pajamas. Put them back on. See, look at her. That was so cute. Does she really need a ponytail? I mean, I don't blame her. What's the new one? Oh, the wedding ring. This. Fully dressed, ready for the day. As usual, she greets me with a smile, but it falls just as fast when she catches a glimpse of my face. Shame, that would have been the first comforting thing I saw today. It annoys me that I'm partially responsible for the worried one replacing it. I must look close to a picture of someone choking or dying because there's nothing but concern in the first words she speaks.
Ash, are you... Do you need to go to the bathroom?
What?
Yeah, no, I don't, okay? But we should hurry. Come on, don't forget to lock your door.
Seriously, you look like you're about to fall over. Are you alright? Because if you're planning to faint right here, I won't be able to carry you.
That's fair.
Yes, don't mind me. I just remembered some stuff from last night.
Just stuff.
I need to talk to Z-Man about this. Mind if we drop by his place first?
Shouldn't we call him? To let him know? It's still pretty early, though we'd probably arrive there around noon. Also, what do you mean about this? Is Zach...
He was also there when I opened the letter, right? He read it too. I'm sure he's fine, but it wouldn't hurt to check on him. To make sure. See if he'll say the same things you told me yesterday.
If he's also been seeing things, if it's the same woman I saw
I'm
last
not saying
night.
there's really a curse yet, but we have to look at this from every possible angle. And don't worry, he won't mind. He's probably just watching TV right now. Let's go.
Okay, but speak up if you're not feeling well. You really look like you're choking on something.
He is. His honesty. He never talks.
Didn't have to do this for me in the first place.
You know it's not as simple as that.
It's because I like you. I want to marry you. We head down to my car in record time with not a single second wasted to hit the road and drive to Zach's place. If anyone of us, other than Isabella, who knows anything about what's going on, who can help sort through the muddled mess my mind is, it's got to be him. He listened to Isabella. Yeah, he did. He's the nicest. Rebecca's the meanest. Zach's the kind who prefers to laze around his apartment on the weekend, especially after having a busy week. The big guy's nowhere in sight, though, when I arrive. Figures, people don't seem to be where they should be when I need them. Looking around, I find no sign where he might have gone to. He usually leaves a note on his fridge if he's out for the day, just in case. As there isn't one, he's probably just went for a quick walk, I hope. Maybe he ran out of eggs or something and went out to buy some? He is out of eggs after all. It puts my running mind to rest for a while. He always has to have some, be it for an omelet or something he's baking.
Ash, should you be rummaging around? It's bad enough we went in here without asking for his permission.
Chill, I'm just looking.
Actually, I could also go for a fucking pie right now, but Zach's fridge is next to empty, save for leftovers. All I can do is sigh and I close it behind me.
If you see me take anything, feel free to call the police.
Isabel is quick to shoot me a sharp glare and another chuckle slips from me, despite the unease in my stomach. But the cheer only lasts a mere few seconds, mostly because she hasn't been in the mood for any sort of friendly banter. It's the silence that's telling, and a quiet Isabella, it's usually the first recipe for an incoming shitstorm.
Always do this whenever you visit another person's house. Because I have a lot of questions about your methods.
Just with Zach.
I'm still worried for our friend, of course, and despite what's bothering Isabella, she's anxious too. She's been standing by the doorway for a few good minutes now since we entered Zach's place. In fact, she doesn't seem to know what to do with herself. But as much as I want to put her at ease, her nervous tics are starting to get to me. The manner in which she makes herself smaller, the way she fidgets with her hands, clasping them one moment and unfurling in the next. It's distracting enough that I want to ask what's wrong. I doubt she'll give me a straight answer, though, and the best I can do is help her temper it.
You don't have to hang around the door. You might be here for a while. You can sit down.
She hesitates for a second, but eventually takes the empty seat by Zach's study
Aren't
table.
we going to look for him?
Sure, we can, but where are we going to start? I can think of a few places he might be, but Luxburn's a big city. I don't want to miss the big guy if we leave, and...
I trail off, making a vague gesture in the general direction of Zach's bed. The messing bed suggests he was out in a hurry, and he didn't even bother to fold the sheets. His cell phone's been left behind as well, another odd thing when he has made a habit to never leave it behind in case of silent
This locked
calls.
door points to the fact that it wasn't a forced exit.
That seems to reassure her, but not so much. Understandable, anything might happen. In hindsight, I shouldn't have left Rebecca alone either. We'll have to check on her later. Yeah, you should have brought everyone. In the meantime, Zach, but with no other clue where he is or no other way to contact him, we have no choice but to wait. Sure, I could give the room another thorough run-through, but I don't think Zach would appreciate me upending his place, and Isabella won't let me do that. Besides, I haven't eaten anything yet. Isabella probably hasn't, too. We did leave in a hurry. Might as well take this chance to cool down a bit, right? Anything to distract myself so that I don't just charge headfirst because of whatever paranoid scheme that comes to mind. Isabella is with me, and I can't be reckless. That's the same sheep thing that was on Isabella's pajamas and that she has in her bedroom. Returning to the kitchen, the first thing I see is a bag of chips when I rifle through those cupboards. After muttering permission and apology to its owner who won't hear, I grab it. Isabella does miss shooting me another glare, but she doesn't really make an effort to stop me this time. She ignores my offer of food, though. So instead, I set myself on Zach's old couch and turn on the television. Isabella's silence may not be too heavy, but sure as hell is awkward. The screen lights up, right as some awful noontime drama starts airing on the Channel 9. Nothing like sitting in front of the TV with a mindless drone running in the background to waste away the time. Waste it away, we do. The afternoon has hit in the last few hours when the movement comes from the other side of the door and Zach's heavy treads break the monotonous drivel from the TV. The lock clicks, the knob turns, and slowly it swings open to reveal a very exhausted-looking Zach. What, did he run a marathon?
Sup, Z-Man?
Hey, Zach. Sorry we just barged in here. Ash was...
Relax. Z-Man gave me a copy of the key himself.
Light as my tone may be, his arrival eases the restless edge in me. Who knows what I would have done if something bad had happened to one of my friends. If another minute had gone by without him showing up, I might have resorted to unconventional methods.
Only after you broke the 13th one? I can't keep replacing them every time you think it'd be a good idea to break into my apartment. And stop calling me Z-Man!
I didn't break anything this time.
Ash, just because I gave you a key doesn't mean you can just stroll in here whenever you want to.
Yeah.
And hey, is that my...
It's scary how the friendly banter and easy smile come naturally. I do it without even thinking, and that speaks volumes of how comfortable I am around Zach. It's nice, isn't it? What makes me afraid, however, is the idea that a time might come where I might just do these things without even meaning to and offend him in some way. The friendship we have might be closer than most I've shared with others, but there are boundaries you can't cross without the other person's permission. Zach's been respectful of that so far, neither asking about my parents or what happened to them. Me? I'd bet he'd say not so much. It's also the easy banter that makes me wish we could just stay like this. No worries and no problems. Just potato chips and a debate on whether or not I deserve them. But as usual, something always cuts a moment like
Of
this
course
short.
he eats all of it. You know, I was saving that for the weekend. Did you at least share some with Bella?
Don't worry about it. I'm good, Zach.
I had ramen. No, I'm
Really?
kidding.
It's free food, you know. What was that you usually say? You don't say no to free food. What happened?
No, I'm just not hungry.
Although her tone forces him to do a double take, Zach doesn't push it. The question's all too clear in his eyes when he glances my way, though. I really wish I could answer him. Despite my best efforts, Isabella's been unforthcoming as well. What am I supposed to do? I can't just force her to speak, can I? She's not a criminal to be interrogated. She's a friend, for Pete's sake. It's a good thing Zach has a better handle of the situation than I, and soon enough he changes the subject. Where it leads to isn't necessarily the better topic, however.
Aye. But if you want something, just say so. I've got a fully restocked pantry right here at your disposal. Still not a 5-star level thing, but for an empty stomach, it'd do. Just say the word.
Thanks, Zach. Maybe next time. Food is not really what we came here for. Ash, he's the one who...
She stumbles into one of her uncertain silences again before glancing my way. There's a plea in there for me to take the lead, but where do we start? The mansion? Strange things we've been seeing? The letter? Even I'm afraid of what he might say. I can't even believe him considering taking a deeper look into this whole thing in the first place, but here I am.
No, you're right. There really are some odd things going on here lately.
How is everything with you lately, Zach?
Hold on, Ash. Both of you. Did I just hear you say that? Is this why Isabella's here? Has something happened?
Calm down, we're just here to check on things. So, did you meet Andrew about the photos?
What photographs?
Unlike when we brought up the subject of the photos with me, he doesn't hesitate when Isabella asks. Zach hastily fishes them out of a nearby drawer and hands it to her. I can almost see it in him. The 1 second hindsight kicks in, and the realization that she would have been a better listener than I. Makes sense when all I've been doing this morning is call it a Halloween prank. She goes through in each of the prints in silence, her shoulders growing stiffer by the second until she goes rigid and pale. But it is the telling glances they exchange afterwards that speak volumes of the things running inside their minds.
What did Andrew say about them?
It could be one, but there's no guarantee it's a supernatural thing. It doesn't always happen. So, that's a dead end right there. Now that I think about it, bothering that guy for this feels pretty silly now. But with the dreams lately...
That's all? Did he say anything about the damn letter at all? Did you ask him even?
As expected, Zach starts to look at me like I've grown a second head. Yeah, I would too if there was ever a universe where I was standing in front of myself, because even as a child I never believed in ghost stories. The lucky charms and mystical objects from my mother have often been stored away or given as paltry gifts to those who would appreciate them more.
Yeah, that's really everything. The letter kind of slipped my mind. The photos were more important at that time. There was some stuff about the local horror stories, though. Talked about the curses, and he was really fascinated with the story about a wraith asking for a sacrifice to move on. Kinda nasty if you ask me, but it does make sense if you simply go along with it.
Just go along with it,
Not
guys.
sure how this will help in the grand scheme of things. Why are you asking about this anyway?
Rose's death isn't just a coincidence, Zach. It may have something to do with... I may have...
Wait, stop right there for a sec, Bella. I thought you ain't buying this stuff, Ash. Just the other day, you said the exact same thing.
Granted, I haven't eliminated every single possibility here yet, but what else is there to go on from here? The worried look Zach shoots my way doesn't help one bit in helping me gather my thoughts either. That's what I came here for. Somehow, everyone's suddenly just so worried about me. It's not like I'm pulling this out of my ass.
I still don't. But even Rebecca, out of all people, claims there's something. Whatever this is,
My
someone
bad.
has got to look into it. Everything about this screams shady.
And along with Isabella's warnings, what occurring around Zach, what's happening in Luxford since she found
Have
the
you just
letter.
seen the news this morning?
Zach's puzzled expression is an answer. Of course he hasn't. Another night, another nightmare. The guy most likely went out as soon as he got out of bed and to shake the images off. The memories have never really left him. Isabella,
I
though...
haven't, actually. Mama called, and I was busy.
That could easily mean anything. Did her Kuya, her older brother, end up in jail again? She had to bail him out numerous times in the past, though all that did was piss her off, not sap every ounce of cheer out of her. Or is it the other brother, the younger one who keeps insisting that he'll quit school so she could come home? That was 2 years ago, and as far as I know, she's already sorted that one out. It couldn't have been her father, right? With the mansion's sale, she has earned enough to cover every bill for a while, or it should. So
No
what is it
problem.
then?
It should be in the afternoon news as well.
I think her dad died. Whatever's bugging her, I doubt it's something meant for casual discussion. Or else she would have mentioned it sooner. Tucking my curiosity for later, I take the remote and begin cycling through the channels. A distraction, not a good one, I admit, but it's definitely better than leaving her to brood. Eventually, I find one doing a recap of the morning reports, and there it is. Poor guy is unidentifiable with how badly his body's been burnt. Murder via arson? That's the logical explanation if I was an officer. Except they couldn't find the source of the fire, and the fire didn't
Burned
spread.
in the early hours of the morning today. The fire was contained within the room and no other tenants were harmed, according to Luxborn police.
They're going to consider spontaneous human combustion soon enough if they don't find anything else. But what's important for everyone to note is the state of the
A similar
room.
writing was found in another victim's room from last week's incident. Both were employees of Briar Realty Corporation. LBN has reached out to the...
Like what happened to Cooper. Hell, I wonder how many other deaths like this I've missed while I've been looking into Wright. The LPD's already thinking this is a serial killer at this point. How long until they consult with the London Metropolitan, I'm not sure. The Anselm Butcher has always been an enigma to even the people within the city. Gone for a few years, then in on the next, one body after another is found. Merely handling the case has apparently driven the chief inspector insane years ago. He never did find out who committed those murders. Maybe now, this time...
Is because of that thing, isn't it? I did this somehow.
Her words all come out like a whisper, but each syllable lingers in the air, heavy with her guilt. In the thick tension of the room, they strike harsher than any of the things we've said. However, she also has to know that she isn't the only one on this. No one has asked her to take this upon herself, and Rebecca won't, Zach won't, I sure as
It
hell
ain't
won't.
too late. We could still fix this. There's 3 of us here.
And Becca. I went through that. So I'm assuming the other option here would have been if I said this and then our relationship was bad, like below that line. So we would have had different dialogue options. And the same thing here. I said this and our relationship was good or bad, depending. There's so many options. I'm only 1% done with his whole thing. Oh my god. Jeez. Okay, and then we got through here, and we're almost at the end of this part, which is Zach, I'm assuming. And then we're moving on to something else that I don't know what.
4 if you count Rebecca.
Thank you.
No, she's staying away from this. I don't want to involve her in this any more than I already have. Both of you as well.
I already said it. That's completely out of the question. Stop asking.
Because he likes you too much. Encouragements aside, this is still a whole fucking mess, and we're in it blind. Lord, if I could read. The only way to make it worse is if we start running around like a bunch of headless chickens. But I have a concrete plan now, I think. Maybe Isabella's right. Maybe we should dig deeper into BRC itself. Maybe we are looking at it the wrong way. However, my suspicions are mine for the moment. The details are something Zach doesn't need to know until I have something to show. It's enough that he's aware that I have an idea in mind. For his part, Z-Man doesn't push it, and nothing but a heavy silence leads our departure hours later. Hours later? Oh, they were hanging out there for a while before even Z-Man got there. I'm calling him Z-Man now instead of Zach. God damn it, Ash, he's rubbing off on me. Seriously, Zach would probably make a more responsible officer than me if he only had the heart to join. He would not work well. His heart is too bleeding hard. He'd get too sad about everything. We could certainly use more kind people like him, but as good as that thought is, I push it all at the back of my mind as Isabella and I head for my car. Tonight, I can't stay distracted. I love what it looks like at night. It's got the cute little anime girl bubbles that make everything look gorgeous. Except for a few half-hearted attempts to get some kind of reaction from Isabella, the drive to BRC is a quiet, awkward affair, more so the hour-long wait for nightfall. Even with only the 2 of us, the place is rife with tense energy, only a matter of minutes now. But with the ticking seconds don't take away the edge, and for the 5th time I reach out and fiddle with the radio, adjusting and turning the knobs with no real purpose. That's a fancy car he's got. It's a nervous quirk that I've developed and never bothered to correct during stakeouts. Something to keep my mind occupied during long nights. What else is there for me to do? He even has the car option? This was a 2017, so yeah, my car has the same option. It's from 2016. Fair. The person I usually count on for a casual out-of-the-blue chat refuses my attempts to starting one.
Ash, out with it!
The way she quickly falters into silence after, in spite of the tone she takes, though, it makes me doubt if she really means everything she's telling me. She hasn't even glanced my way since we
Having second
arrived.
thoughts? You can still back out if you want.
We're just going to my office. Why should I?
Dunno. You can get in trouble, maybe. This isn't exactly legal.
Scope BRC out, see if the real estate company has any more information that may be of help, find things about Cooper and other agents assigned to the Ermengarde mansion. Oh my god. According to Isabella, it's the last property the victims have worked on. Sure, I could also check the station for full reports, and that's the easiest semi-legal way. But I don't want to bump into the chief right now, and the guys at the precinct will definitely throw me out on his orders as soon as they see me. Not that my plan right now is any better. I'm just breaking into a different place, more or less, with a civilian to boot. The latter still doesn't sit well with me. It never will, especially if this might put her in a very tricky position afterwards. She's been very careful when it comes to her work, almost a model employee, as people would say. So why is she throwing caution to the wind
I'm
now?
not an employee here. I'm not supposed to be looking for any confidential stuff. Only people like you are privy to.
Because I'm pretty sure her dad died, and the money is just gonna go to her siblings to finish school and to her, so she doesn't care anymore.
If you mentioned earlier that this is your plan, I might have had enough time to think about it. I already promised to help if you need access to those files. I didn't think you'd want to see them this soon and in this way. Besides, the same goes for you, right? You were taken off your case. Won't you get in trouble with your boss?
Honestly, it's a toss-up between breaking into her office or the Wright's mansion. That's a bad idea. As it stands, I'll have an easier time getting in here first. After all, why would someone want to break into the realty company? Been there many times before anyway, for a few casual visits when I wanted to bug Scaredy Cat. Over the years, I have more or less grown familiar with their security setup and how barely staffed they are. Badly. Not barely. Plus, it's an old building. If the bankruptcy rumors are true, it means their access protocols might also be outdated.
Still, I can do this on my own, you know.
Really? And how are you even planning to get into our office without an access card? Please explain.
Well, I was going to pry open the card reader and use a gecko.
You're a hopeless case. I really want to know why no one has locked you up yet.
I've heard of the gecko before because of CSI, I think.
Yet you're helping me with this. Willingly. I don't think that'll sit well with the Philippine embassy either. Chances are you'll probably get deported the minute they find out.
Low blow, I know. Yeah, that is really low. Dude. But it's worth a shot when she can still turn back. It's not like I don't have any means to get into the place. With or without her, I have a way.
At least I have a reason to be snooping about. My badge and rank can speak for me in case things go south. You?
For a passing second, it seems to work. A hint of panic and hesitation flashes across her features when she looks at me with searching eyes. Then unexpectedly it dissolves, not behind the fear I'm anticipating, but underneath something sharp and searing. I'm not sure what she sees exactly or what she's hoping to find in the short while she holds my gaze. All of it merely goes unspoken, and no longer than a minute later she simply averts her attention back to the window, training it once again at some point outside.
Isabella, please, now's not the time.
It's too late for that, Ash. Give it a rest.
Damn, girl, you're repressing some emotions here? Repressing lots of emotion. Wait, there's a quick time event coming up? Oh my god, no, I wasn't planning on this. Why? Why? There's a quick time event over here, too. So I'm assuming this is if Isabella's dead or not dead. Sorry, dead or not dead, because she's not dead right now. And he probably still would have broken in, huh? Unless he's going to break into the Wright's mansion if she was dead. I could see that. That would make sense. I gotta get comfy and move my leg. My leg is uncomfortable. 1 second. And we're back. An appeal, spoken in a voice too harsh coming from her. Perhaps unintentional, perhaps one that's already too exhausted of everything going on lately. It's hard not to concede when she takes on that tone, and as soon, despite myself, I sigh. Tucking away every concern, I was about to say every corner, I've been lugging around in favor of trusting her on this, according to her the same confidence she has implicitly given me all this time.
Alright, okay, if that's what you want. And don't worry, I didn't mean what I said earlier. I won't let anything happen to you.
He says he wants to be a better man before he confesses that he likes her. But, like, dude, you're so bad. Just fucking say it. Just, that's all I can say. Screw trying to be a better person. Screw taking things slow. Just get with the person you like. If they like you back, obviously. Her lips briefly turn up in a smile, though none more of cheer reaches her eyes.
Just get this over with, okay? Everyone should be out of the office by now.
Somehow the uncertainty in her posture makes me wonder if she's intended it as some kind of comforting gesture. Whether it's for me or for her, she doesn't let me find out. Without saying another word, she exits the car while I'm left scrambling and chasing after her. She's already at the side entrance, a hand raised on the card reader beside it, and another poised to push the door open when I catch up to her. Whatever doubt there is in her face a while ago, it's gone. Seeing her like this makes it easier to believe my worries are unfounded, that things might go smoothly this time.
Where do you think you kids are going? It's late. Most offices in this building have already closed up shop for the weekend.
The bloke seems friendly enough, though one can't really tell from his voice alone. He might be the wary sort for all I know. Keeping an unconcerned face and an aloof air won't hurt until I figured out how to wiggle us out of the situation.
Back on Monday if you have important business.
But from the way Isabella's face brightens up, it looks as though getting through won't be too much of a problem. He's probably been working there for a few months already then, maybe around 4 or 6 max. Otherwise, he would have recognized Isabella or me at first glance. I haven't shown my face here since I was assigned to the firm case a year ago. In the first place, none of their security officers ever lasted a year in service. The longest was around 7.5. I'll give this guy around that before he gets fired or finds a better paying job. For the moment, his too friendly attitude is almost a gift.
Hey, Seb!
God damn it, Isabella.
Look who we have here. Been a few days since I last saw that ponytail in here, Santiago?
Close enough.
I was like, no, that's not her name.
Wait, don't tell
Santos?
me. I'll get it right this time. Sanchez.
God damn.
You were closer the first time.
Drat. I swear it is on the tip of my tongue. I just need a hint to remember.
I take it back. This geezer's not going to last past this month. He can't even remember regular employee's name.
Alrighty, I'm sure of it this time. Centillon?
What is that name?
Still a few ways off, Seb.
Isabella, we don't have all night.
I know, just let me handle this.
God damn it, calm down, Ash.
Sorry, Seb. Some other time. We're in a bit of a hurry. I just need to get a few things from my cubicle. Important work stuff, you know? Is it okay if we drop upstairs for a sec?
Oh, absolutely. No, go right ahead. As long as you have your access card with you, we're good. Not sure if I'm allowed to let your boyfriend in, though.
He dropped the boyfriend word.
Who, me?
My what?
Your boyfriend. The guy with you, isn't he?
It's a fair observation, if I do say so myself, he says. Oh. Needless to say, the silence that descends is both uncomfortable and terribly awkward. Although the latter's probably coming mostly for me, because in the next second, Isabella laughs. Laughs, lighter than the ones I've heard from her lately. A comforting sound, really, after seeing her in such a dour mood since this morning, even as all of it subsides into a mere chuckle sooner than I'd like. It's comforting to see that I'm at least partially responsible for it, despite my poor heart being beaten to a sorry pulp. This is why you're honest about your feelings and you don't drag on a friendship like this.
Oh, no. No. He's definitely not my boyfriend.
She might as well have set it on fire and reduced it to dust while she's at it. Frankly, the number of no's in that sentence alone is a bit too much. Christ, one would have been enough to get the message across. Did she really have to put it that way?
That's impossible. Stop being funny, Seb. I'll go on ahead, okay?
She quickly shuffles inside with nothing more than a small wave, leaving behind an even more awkward atmosphere for me to wade through. It would have been bearable if I didn't have to suffer through a stranger's amusement. Alas, woe is me.
Boyfriend, but close to it, huh?
Seb is right.
Mind your own business.
Kids these days.
Seb is so right. He's just watching. If he can see them on camera, he's gonna be like,
Good to see her up and about, though. Thought for sure she'd up and disappear like the others.
ooh.
Excuse me?
You know, stuff in the news.
You mean what happened with Rose Cooper?
If I'm going to be stuck out here with him for a while, I might as well try and gather as much intel as I can. He may just be a guard, someone with no real authority, but most of the time people like him are the ones who know more than they let on.
But even before that, we've got a couple of good blokes we never saw again.
Really? Those guys could have just resigned for all you know.
Dunno, I only catch tidbits of stuff from over here. Oh, seriously, I heard the branch is getting flushed soon, but that's no excuse for anarchy. That figures why Boss Man's been in an awful temper these past months.
They managed to strike a good deal with the mansion in Ansem, right? That didn't do the trick?
Didn't seem like it. The bloke shouting like no tomorrow again. Wasn't very pleased when Gurley called and asked for another leave yesterday afternoon.
Gurley? Isabella?
It's not too surprising, considering she's already been gone for 3 days. Now she's asking for another. Not that it's a bad thing, it's within her rights as an employee, but Isabella really uses her work leaves.
Poor lassie, if you ask me. She found him a buyer for that mansion after all. The least you could do is be considerate to her after a family member's passing.
Yeah, her dad definitely died. I'm surprised that Seb knows about
Wait,
it.
What?
The rumors, BRC, Rose Cooper, missing in action employees, all of it ceases to matter in that instant. Almost on my instinct, my eyes zero in on the intercom speaker as if I'm staring daggers at it and it'll show me the man behind the voice so that I can see the truth in his face myself.
Don't know?
No, what?
Nothing. I shouldn't be the one you're asking, and, things might get a bit boring here. No one really wants to hear what a poor old guard wants to say. Why don't you just go after her? As long as you're not looking to create trouble for me, it won't be a problem. You aren't here for that, right?
How to get invited into a building that you're not allowed to be in. Cause a super awkward situation with the guard. That's what I've just learned. He's lucky I'm not here to hurt anyone. If I were someone with ill intentions, he might not be smiling at the end of the day.
No, but...
I'll go and unlock that side entrance for you then. Just don't forget to turn off the lights before you both leave, okay?
Hey, wait a second. What do you mean by...
Just assume. He cuts off the connection before I can finish, and the rest of my question dies in my throat. Soon the latch clicks and the side door swings open. This Seb, a stout man wearing a uniform, still too loose for him, waves me over from the gap before he disappears behind a station. Just my luck. Here I thought I'm going to have to count on what Isabella brings me with her. Although no matter how much I want to feel happy, something else has already taken a firm seat in the forefront of my mind. Is that why she's been acting not like herself today? Since when? Of course, as soon as I step into the building, I try to push all these questions as far down as I can. I need to focus. Work is work. This isn't even work, dude. But if what I've heard is exactly what I think it is, it's a sign of things to come. Honestly, I don't feel too good about that. I don't like this elevator ride. This is sketch. This is really sketch. It's a quiet ride up to the 7th floor where BRC's Luxporn main office is. Seb has been kind enough to switch the guest elevator's power on just as I'm about to head for the fire exit stairs, which is a welcome relief. I'm an active guy, but stairs? 7 floors worth, too? That's a lot. I don't want to tire out too quickly in case things get ugly. There probably won't be any trouble with the building this quiet, but you never know. I swear the whole place definitely feels eerie at this time of night. But until I've confirmed anything, those are still just stories. Worse things can happen. No need to scare myself. Staying calm means fewer mistakes.
I sure am fucking gutsy, especially with what I'm doing.
Well, I mean, he thinks you're the boyfriend, so it's fine. I'm breaking a lot of laws here, and I'm also putting Isabella at a lot of risks. Best thing that can come out of this is that Isabella's right all along. In the worst case scenario, 1, someone finds out Isabella's involvement in this and her boss fires her. 2, I find evidence that would implicate BRC or Luke in a crime, and my meddling, if I'm not careful enough, makes it inadmissible in court. Though if I'll be honest, I strongly prefer losing my job or facing right over some spirit or ghost or whatever it is. I could always work around the problems with the former. Isabella could also find a better job. BRC never did pay her properly, despite her efforts. But fighting off a phantom? How does one even do that? Do guns even work on them? Oh, that is some major foreshadowing. I know, I looked up how to keep all the people that I care about alive, and for him, he has an option eventually to shoot Luke, and you don't want to shoot him. If you shoot him, he ends up getting killed by the ghost. So I'm not going to shoot Luke, obviously. So that's a really interesting foreshadow to throw in there.
Yeah, not going to happen.
But tonight, I'm here to fix things. If I do it without leaving a trail, all the better. Good thing that's what I'm good at. I do not like this. Easy way in, achievement unlocked. I don't like this situation. Last time we were here, things were sketch. We still haven't even made it through here yet. At least I got a little bit of time before I die, possibly. Is there any other quick time events in here? Holy crapola! This thing just continues forever. Holy, oh my god, it just keeps going. I don't even know. This branch and story, well, that it must have been go to the Luke's mansion or go to here. That makes sense. Interesting. What I'll probably never be good at is finding the proper words when a sitch calls for it. But seeing Isabella's small form beyond those doors and how she pushes through despite carrying an entirely different burden this time, how she's pretending as if everything's normal, it's difficult not to try. People who have never looked beyond her smiles will never know, will never understand. Hell, even Rebecca's probably not yet aware of this yet. I get it. We have other problems at hand. I've done the same thing plenty of times to protect myself after all. But it's all in her eyes when she glances up and a few light raps I give the door. She wastes no time in leaving the mess of papers on the table and opening it for me, even though her confusion as she takes in my presence barely hides it.
Seb let you in?
Mm-hmm. The rough edge in her voice rings a whole different tune now that I'm aware why. But knowing is different from hearing it straight from her. I can't simply bring this up, can I? It's not a topic suited for casual conversation, and I doubt she wants to talk to me about it. As much as I want to help, there's a distance between us that I'll never be able to cross. One that I wouldn't even be there if it wasn't for me. Perhaps if I had been honest years ago and less of a coward, I might have been able to. Figures I couldn't even do that for the one person I keep telling myself that I care deeply
What
about.
can I say? I'm a very charming person.
No, you just made things awkward.
To a rock, maybe.
She's right. This is the closest we can get to it, I suppose. The light banter, the fleeting glances, or sometimes the long bouts of silence. I'm not gonna lie, I just got terrified of this little arm of the chair here. I really thought it was a ghost or something, and I kind of freaked out for a second. And it's enough. For me it is, because even without words, there's comfort. With her, it's easy.
Must be a pretty cool rock then.
Ugh, get over yourself.
Hey now, I deserve some slack here. Today's supposed to be my day off, and yet here I am helping you out.
Helping. By standing at the door.
Well, you're not exactly letting me in.
Despite what she says, she moves to block me when I try to enter. She must have expected this the second we walked up to the building's entrance and counted on the night shift guard to bar me from the place. It's reassuring to know she's somehow worried about me, although it's a bit misplaced at the moment. Besides, her concern aside, I really can't let her get into the thick of things without me. Not with all the problems on her plate right now.
Isabella!
Seriously, Ash. Seb might get in trouble for this. You might get in even bigger trouble with your boss.
And you're not? We've already talked about this back at Zach's. It's out of the question.
That was a really weird scream he did.
At least do it for Seb. Please. He's a really nice guy. With the way things are going here, he's...
On that, I agree with her. Seb's not such a bad fellow. Might be a little careless with his job and talks too much, but he means well. I'd hate to see the guy leave here with a bad record in case something goes wrong. However, the anxious look she shoots the back table behind her bring an even bigger worry.
Did you find something? Aside from what you told me about yesterday?
Not yet. I'm not sure. I haven't started going through the files we have in the records room. Just the ones they handed to me and Rose.
Let me see.
Wait, Ash!
Isabella, I already promised you that no one's going to get in trouble after we're done here. Even Seb. I'll make sure we leave the place clean.
Her hesitation's still there, a split second of indecision as she tries to form an argument. Eventually, when nothing comes to mind, she steps aside.
Okay, but we can't take the original files out of this office. Clear? Not even a single sheet. We'll just have to make a copy.
The copier is creepy and sketchy and possessed.
Don't worry, that's the plan.
Don't go to the copier. That appears to reassure her. A nod, then shortly she gestures for me to follow. Passing a sea of cubicles, I can't help but take in everything in their office, a force of habit for the most part. As far as I know, BRC Luxborn used to own the whole building. Offices in several floors, once upon a time, when real estate is still a lucrative business for the company in this side of the country. Then competition showed up, and suddenly everything's not so good anymore. It only got worse as the years went by, or so according to the rumors. Now the branch is just a floor, despite what the huge sign on the building's facade says, and frankly, it's not too hard to believe when one looks at the state of this room right now. A number of desks have been cleared out. Personal mementos are scarce, as if the employees have gone on an exodus. That'll be downsizing, probably. Still worrisome, though. Of course, I shake away all of this when Isabella starts handing me the papers she's been looking through. Focus, Frey. There's no point in whining or dwelling any longer. That's why we're here in the first place, to find out what the real deal is the old-fashioned way. Isabella's presence is a whole other blessing, too. I couldn't even imagine how long this would take if I got pushed in going in here alone.
Everything? Where are the documents you mentioned?
Still locked up in the records room. Do you need them now?
Bring them here. Everything that has to do with the mansion's sale. Even those who worked on it during the renovations. The cleanup. Everything.
When she leaves, I know the ghost is coming.
Including your mandatory sign-in sheets.
It's an odd thing to bring up, but at least it elicits a laugh from her before she heads off for the records room. Oh no, we're gonna die. She remembers. Yeah, we're gonna die. That's what I remember. Oh my god. And no matter how weak the sound of it is from our usual ones, it's a welcome thing to hear. It reminds me that Isabella I know is still in there. She returns minutes later, okay, we're not dead yet, with a thick stack of folders and binders. Blinders! For the next half an hour, we work in complete silence while we dig into everything compiled in the folders. Not an easy task considering how thick the whole thing is, but there's two of us. In fact, Isabella does most of the work, sorting the contracts, the employee lists, and stuff we won't need to a neat pile. Just the files for the restoration alone make up a stack of papers that's an inch thick. Third-party service providers hired by the BRC? Hired by for the? That doesn't make any sense. Masonry, radiators, woodworking, plasterwork, slate roofing, and a whole bunch of other things that are well documented. Hell, every single contractor who worked on the project were listed individually, even if they were just there to do the plumbing. It's a high-profile and high-cost estate, all right, but with that scope comes with loopholes. It means plenty of room to hide something in if there's something fishy going on. All I have to do is find a pattern, and it doesn't take long. Upon closer glance, despite the original owners shouldering the renovation costs, it'll be surprising if they manage to break even on the Ermagon mansion. What with the additional expenses for the open house, the commission for their agents, and the other overhead fees, at one point the negotiations to get it listed under BRC's name almost broke down too. Some disagreement about the listing price. The owners wanted to be rid of it as quickly as possible while keeping the worth at a profitable level. BRC was insisting on a higher amount, double what the appraiser suggested. This, plus the rumor of their branch is closing, BRC Luxborn really is in the red, and the sale of the mansion could have easily been a desperate move to keep the branch
No wonder
afloat.
the final sale happened as fast as it did. Did you know about this?
No, they took it off our hands after I submitted the final documents for the sale. I didn't even know until I read this. I'm not sure if Rose did. I've only been given the key to the records room after she... Anyway, my point is, they've kept all the files from me. Rose was the one who compiled everything from our side. And even then, she was probably not aware of this.
Yeah, they probably just kept it with the brokers.
There's only so much they let us know. After that, they just told us to wait for our commission, and that the legal team would handle the rest.
The brokers, yeah.
The rumors are true. Huh.
Seems so.
Sheesh. This place is just unlucky, going bankrupt while the rest of this crap is happening. But this isn't what we're looking for. What we need is the who, and people aside from Isabella and Cooper involved in this business with the mansion and how they are now. We can't do much with the outside contractors, they won't be on file. The employee list, on the other hand, even with 2 people working through the pile, the whole task still takes quite a while. It's a quarter of an hour later when we put down the papers with a sigh and move on to the clients upon Isabella's insistence. For that, the sign-in form from the open house comes in handy. Luke has such a fancy handwriting compared to Hannah. Hannah's so prim and cute. Richard... Charles, people I don't know, Beatrice. I was trying to see if Rochelle would be there, but no. Something that gives me a laugh is when I spy a fake name. Oh, he wrote a fake name?
Why'd I even pick this name? It sounds so lame.
Which, Ashley, is that really what you picked?
What name?
Nothing important. Just focus on those papers you have.
Ashley?
We need to finish this soon, before Seb suspects anything.
Is that really what he wrote? Because he's Ashley? She snatches the paper away before going, and the thought of it hiding it occurs me. Not that there's much secret. Isabella found me that afternoon anyway.
Lee?
I knew it. I've been careless that day, tailing Luke right without confirming where they were headed off to. While the butler's terribly efficient in keeping the right engagements from the public eye, there are other ways if only I've given it the time of my day. In retrospect, I've been too eager, too impatient to find something that'll crack the case and be done with it. Maybe my failure goes as far back as the day of the open house, not during the party last night.
Yeah, well, I was pressed for time.
Seriously? Ashley? Were you even trying?
Oh, come on. You didn't even notice I was the one who wrote it down.
Of course I wouldn't. Only an idiot would use his real name.
Yeah, she's
It
right.
worked, though. Admit it. It's genius. Who would have thought, huh?
She responds with a roll of her eyes, then drops the matter entirely by shoving the paper back into my hands. We lapse back into our respective tasks afterwards, wordlessly skimming through everything. Read, set aside, get another one. Looking back at the sign-in sheet, I spot Luke Wright and Hannah Wright listed at the top. Not that I don't know about them already, of course, but scanning through the list is a name that immediately comes to my attention.
Madeline Williams.
Something wrong?
Huh? No, just that I remember this girl listed here.
She frowns, moves her seat closer, and takes a careful read of the sheet. There's a long moment before she speaks again, but from the very way she tenses, she appears to be expecting the worst.
What about her?
She was with me, in the group following Cooper, when we toured the upstairs part of the mansion, I mean. Rather loud one, especially when we took a peek into the attic. Kept talking about the ghost stories the whole tour.
Well, that's fun.
Then, do you? Do you think she's...
She was reported missing 3 days after.
Oh, goddamn, Madeline. There was a ruckus at the precinct the day her family filed it. Threats were naturally given at the lack of progress days later, desperate ones. Her family's willing to shell out all the cash they have just to find her, to no avail, unfortunately. Officer Benjamin has been in a bad mood ever since he spoke with them, but what can he do? What can we do? He's tied, we're all tied, there's only so much we're able to do with everything that has been shoved into our hands
She
recently.
still hasn't been found. It's already been a week.
Isabella makes no further comment aside from my nod. Instead, she sits back in her chair with a distant look in her eyes, her hands balling into a fist, and she struggles with her frustration. Or maybe it's anger. But the moment doesn't last too long. Soon her grip loosens and she folds her hands back on her lap. Her expression, however, it's one I've seen too many times in the mirror. What does one say to a person burdened not by one loss but many, who carries it in her shoulders like a badge of shame? I've yet to find the answer to that myself. Until then, the only way forward... press on to see where our attempts at fixing our mistakes might lead us. And despite my own doubts, a glimpse of that look on her face is enough reason for me. I can't just give up. There's too much at stake and too much to lose. With a renewed focus, I continue. On the third and last sheet, I spot another one, Beatrice Wilde, one that I recall from the newspaper obituaries, died of a heart attack. A letter of correspondence expressing condolences to her family confirms as much as her files, passed away at the age of 74 in her sleep. Well, the dreams that Zach's been having, so maybe she just had a dream that ended up giving her a heart attack?
She's at that age. It certainly could have been a natural death.
Right? I like to believe so. But 3 more letters turn up when I rummage through the stack, and it leaves nothing more but than a foreboding feeling in me. They're all addressed to families of clients who have passed away this week. Regardless, these go into a pile of things worth looking into after a visit here, along with the Williams info sheet. There are just so many names, so many faces, each one I've seen that day, and here I am wondering if they're all right. It isn't a selfless thought that brings the question to mind, rather. It's the logic that more of them are still alive and the more people I can choose to question. Nothing's concrete yet. Of course, these are just speculations, but we're making progress. Once done with the sign-in sheets, I stash it along with the growing pile to my left and pull out as many of the other documents Isabella has already prepared for me. We're working through the employees list now and those who have been assigned to the mansion. Because if Isabella was to be believed, if that's what she's seen and what happened to Rose Cooper, it's because of that letter. I need to know everyone who had possibly read it, aside from the 3 of us, and if they've been noticing strange things too. For all I know, these may have been just a terrible coincidence. Words. Although the thought of that starts to diminish as we dig into the BRC's company files. 15 minutes later, and a stack close to my elbow has risen from 5 to 21 different dossiers. Client and employee documentation, people who have either visited the open house or worked on the property in some capacity since the letter's discovery. Turns out there were 2 more employees who handled the mansion directly aside from Cooper and Isabella. Christian Sy, the realty specialist, and Mark Julius Jean Marie, the estate appraiser.
This C guy. He was in custody just the other day.
Really? Sir John has been looking for him. He stopped reporting to work a few weeks ago.
Why was he in jail?
Are you sure it's the same person?
Yep, this is him. Folks at the precinct said they went to his house after a noise complaint.
That's weird.
They found him just acting all crazy. Had to take him in when he started getting violent. He kept screaming about a woman.
Yeah, I wonder what woman. Immediately, she stiffens. I don't want to bring it up or imply a connection to Isabella's story, but that is exactly what happened.
He was driving the guards mad, but he didn't last too long in there. A few hours in, and he just started bashing his own head against the wall.
Oh.
Well, it was messy, to say the least.
Oh, he killed himself in jail?
We had no idea. Is he okay?
He's in the hospital
shoot,
right now.
she was still talking.
I heard they're putting him into a psychiatric ward as soon as he recovers. He's still a bit unstable.
What else did she say? HR just marked him as AWOL because none of their calls would get through. John Marie, on the other hand, his employee file notes his date of leaving and when his final payment had been given. Along with it, there's a letter to his family about the appraiser being found dead in the office. In the office? Holy crap. Communication is hush-hush, and there's mention of compensation if they don't talk about it to the media. Oh, that's sus. Inspector Abigail has often scolded me for not reading the reports on a regular basis, but I try to keep up to date as much as I can. When I do, I make sure I'm aware of the gist of what's going on in my city. This never reached the police's ears or the health and safety executive. Why would it? They're literally paying everyone to shut up.
Do you know about this guy?
One glance in her eyes says everything. They've hidden it from the media and they've kept it from the police. It's not surprising this will also be a secret from someone of Isabella's position in this company. Fuck.
Rose was looking for him. Last week.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't heard anything from him either. Until now. They never mentioned this to us.
Business going under and someone dies while working here, of course they want to keep it quiet. Bad publicity. This whole thing is just getting freakier by the minute. Nevertheless, I hand the files for Isabella to make a copy
The pages
of.
with their names, addresses, and contact numbers will do. We'll start with the ones who live within the city.
Sometimes there are things you really can't just brush off as mere coincidence in my line of work. Once a pattern pops up, it's the only right to be suspicious. Especially with the thing with C. It hits too close to the stuff my own friends have been telling me.
All of this?
It's considerably thinner than the one she brought in, yet somehow the way she hugs the folders close to herself makes it seem heavier. Like she's hanging onto it in the same manner one would latch onto a lifeline.
Only the noteworthy ones.
And those that might still be alive. Might. She doesn't need to know that.
We can't check the outside contractors, but the guys with the direct connection to BRC and the people who attended the open house should be enough. We don't have time to see how everyone's doing, especially if what you said is true.
For a second, she appears about to argue, then quickly decides against it and hides it away before anyone reads the question in her face. Then, in a too abrupt motion, she turns towards the copier and gets to work. Oh, God. It's coming. We haven't even gotten to this part yet. Oh, my God. Soon, only the machine's constant thrum fills the airs around us while I keep myself busy cleaning up the mess we've made. The lack of talk is awkward, to put it mildly, disturbing at worst. I've gotten used to just letting her just babble away whenever it's the two of us. Where are we? Here we go. Very nice. I like the little key card. It's cute. I could tell, however, she wants to do more. She wants to fix this mess herself, and that desire makes her antsy. But at the same time, she's learning how to not be impulsive or stubborn, exactly as I told her yesterday before agreeing to any of this. Or maybe these so-called changes have always been with her. Dire situations have always pushed people to change, after all. Although seeing this happen in front of me only makes it difficult to find the proper things to say. In an atmosphere this tense and charged, what is left for us to talk about? Certainly not the news. What's worse is when you only realize all of this in hindsight, right after you've already ran off your mouth off.
You know, for a house your company seems to be in a hurry to sell, they still made quite a fortune out of it. Look at this. 1, 2, 3... 6.
Zeros?
Are you sure they're planning to give your entire share for this? This isn't a small amount, especially given the usual cut. And their accounting department isn't in the greatest shape either.
Even if they don't, it's not like someone still needs it.
Oh, the poor girl. I mean, her brothers and sisters for school. And there's the reason why people don't let me talk. Silence once again descends throughout the room, denser compared to the ones we've shared tonight. Behind me, I can still hear her movements, sharp and precise while she feeds the originals to the machine. Then with one last click, all of it stops. Her feet shuffle lightly against the floor when she moves away. Something creaks softly, probably the table, as she settles her weight against his side. By this time, an apology is already at the tip of my tongue, but...
Papa's gone, Ash.
Mm-hmm. Within those scant few seconds, everything between us shifts and the gravity of her words sink. Right then and there, something harsh and immovable rises between us. Death is something I'm familiar with, almost 10 years in the police force, and it's impossible not to be acquainted with it. But this is different from those dead bodies we examined in forensics, and a far cry from the victims we found on a bad investigation. Those I could easily distance myself from, no emotional attachments and no need for pretenses. Yet somehow I still find myself grasping for things to tell her, any words of comfort that'll dull the pain. Because even without looking at her, her grief feels palpable enough, her pain an immutable weight hanging over us. Save.
When?
Plus. Good, we need to get this all the way up. And he needs to be closer to Isabella than Zachary. Although him and Zach would have been cute together, but that's not an option.
Huh? When what?
When did he die?
Your dad. I mean, when did you find out?
Come on now. She doesn't answer. Not immediately, anyways. For a long moment, the hush simply stretches out before us, spanning across the seconds we let pass while we both simply stand there. Eventually, she exhales, lightly muted enough that I might have missed it had I not been paying attention to her every movement.
Around 3 in the afternoon there,
Hmm.
Mama called. She she told me he passed away in his sleep. And I guess I can take comfort in that, huh? That Papa wasn't in any pain when...
She trails off, releases another ragged breath hidden underneath her chuckles. Each one's mirthless, heavy with nothing but sorrow. Then she falters into silence, and for all my attempts at lightening her burden, I'm suddenly at a loss. Reassurance could only do so much when her only reason for staying here has suddenly been taken from her, a hope yanked from underneath her feet right after it was generously given. And without that, without the one person who pushes her to endure these, all of the shit we're going through, she's going through, means nothing but a struggle. What does one say to a person fraying at the edges, slowly wearing thin and breaking? Are words even enough? What right do I have anyway? I cannot give her anything, apart from the lies that changed me as a person and affections she may or may not even want for herself. Because no matter how easy she has wormed herself into our lives, how immutable her presence has become, her own heart will always yearn for something else. For home.
Tell me about him.
Huh? About what?
Your dad. Tell me about him. Anything. Just talk. Say anything you want. Doesn't matter what it is. I'll listen.
Silence again, as if she's testing the weight of my question, for what purpose it is, for a reason I can't even say right now. After a while, though, she starts, reluctantly, her voice hitching, faltering and stumbling on each syllable she chooses her words. A rough start, but soon it steadies, and along with it, to keep company at the stories from childhood and memories she's fond of. This is cute. A shoulder to cry on achievement, and the picture is literally a girl with a ponytail, and you just see her eyes and one tear. One tear! Despite this, in spite of the grief choking her words off and the hurt closing her throat and the sobs racking her lithe form, she continues, like the mere act of speaking is a relief in itself. Well, it usually is if you have no one to talk to about something like this. A release. She tells me of her father, the very person who named her, how she looked up to him, how she was a bit of a tomboy growing up in her attempts to imitate him, and how the man encouraged her to pursue what she really wanted, although she's not, but she better. Perhaps even the only thing she ever did for herself, having grown up not wanting anything more than to put food on their tables.
Told me I don't have to listen to them. That I can do what I want.
And yet she still hasn't done that.
Every day, he'd wake up at 4, Ash.
Mm-hmm.
Because he'd earn more that way. And every time, every single time, he'd give them to me.
Give you what? The money?
Whatever extra he
Oh.
earned.
I was like, what is she talking about?
Them all. So I'd have something to use for my paintings.
Oh, that's cute. What a nice daddy. It got hot. I had to take off my sweater.
Back home, just a good tube of paint costs almost as much as what we spend for food the whole day.
Which is crazy, because there's like 5, 6 children in her family.
But he'd always set something aside. Told
Oh,
me
God.
he wanted to see my paintings in a museum one day.
She pours all of it out, every little thing she loved and admired about him. Like this, it's easy to see why she had gone to such great lengths for him, and why she abandoned her dreams, and why she went against his wishes just to grant him another chance at life. Others will say it's her warmth that draws people to her, or her cheer. Neither are wrong, but neither is the whole truth to her either. Because those who have never bothered to look beyond the surface will never see it and see her. See someone earnest, someone who has always meant well despite the underlying stubbornness. This is how she loves, warm, steadfast, unflinching. You never meet many people like her, not in my line of work, and not with the kind of people I've had to deal with. Always with something to hide, always with something to lie about. Eventually, when you run across too many of them, you change and you become like them. In many ways, for a lot of reasons, she's the kind of person I want to be around. Oh, I want to be and I want to be around. Who made me feel safe and I'm still worth something.
He didn't want me to leave. Begged that I should finish my studies first.
Yeah.
In the end, I couldn't even grant him that one request. I'm a terrible daughter, aren't I?
You're not.
Huh?
Oh, this was an interesting transition.
You're not. I can't speak for your dad. I haven't even met the man. But I know you're not.
She's got really yellow cat-looking eyes. It's a little weird. I'm not entirely sure where I'm going with this. The remark just came out. Now I'm stringing all of these together as I go. But one thing is certain, none of what I'm about to say is a lie.
The Isabella I know is a total klutz, but I've never seen anyone work as hard as she does. She's the type who wears her heart on her sleeve. Though it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's always in the right place.
Yeah.
She's intimidated by a lot of stuff, but she knows how to appreciate the smallest things in life. Frankly, you've caused us no small amount of trouble since you barged into our lives. But when I'm with you, when I'm
Oh.
with you, all of my worries seem trivial.
Oh, that sounds like a confession. Don't do it now, though. Heat has already crept up into my face when the turn... crept up my face when the turn this whole thing is about to take registers. Before I blurt the rest of it out, declare feelings I'm not even ready to reveal to anyone, much less to her, my hand comes up to smother the rest of it. I was about to say, he should wait till after she's done, talking about her dad being dead. Like, maybe a different day. Though embarrassment quickly takes the reins before I completely clamp my mouth shut.
And I'm pretty sure Zach and Becca think the same way.
Yeah, you just gotta throw your friends in there to distract from you.
You have a nasty way of growing on people like that, and you know what? We got everything we needed in here. I'll just wipe the security recordings and we're good to go.
Why would you wipe the security? I guess.
While
yeah.
I'm at it, you better wipe the snot off your face. And you don't look very nice when you're balding like that.
You were doing so well and you ended so terribly. Oh, God. Hastily, I gather everything, the personnel files, the client documents, sales agreements, and contracts, anything that my hands could reach. What a busy Saturday. Look at this cute little picture. Oh, that looks weird. That's his gloves, but it looks like his fingers have been cut there. Oh, we're getting closer. We're getting closer to quick time. In record time, all of it has been stacked in a neat pile, ready for storage. I'm heading for the records room not a few seconds later, wherever that is. It should be an easy find unless the place is a maze of some sort, which I highly doubt. Still beats staying here and seeing the look on her face. Crap. Really, her anger is still bearable. I can take that, including the glower she sends my way.
So, yeah, I'll go get the security videos and put these back where you pulled them from. Man, these are heavy, you know?
Ash, it's just paper.
Mm-hmm.
You don't even know where I...
Oh, no, I can handle this. Easy as pie. And, yeah, security cams, tapes, videos, cams.
I didn't have to be this awkward about things. Like, come on.
Yeah, I'm off.
Her rejection at this point, maybe not yet. Getting the files back to BRC's archive room is a cinch. With the documents back in their proper places, I lock the door behind me, tugging it twice just to make sure. Now on to the next order of business, removing the evidence from our little excursion here, or at the very least the parts showing what we've been doing during this past hour. Can't have our faces plastered on security footage showing us breaking the law, as it were. I'm gonna have to wipe the data for Isabella's access card entries too. Surprisingly, finding the security room proves a breeze. What will be tricky is getting inside. The fact that no one has walked out during the whole time we've been here means that the room is either empty or the security sound asleep. I'm banking more on the former. If they're cutting corners and firing agents, I have no doubt that they've fired the guy stationed here, if they've had anyone watching the monitors in the first place. It's a rather common thing for establishments. Just leave security recording indefinitely, and only check the footage if something actually happens. Just to check, I press my ears against the door, listening for a sign of anyone occupying the room. After a long minute of nothing, I give the knob a few rattles. I thought that was a ghost, and it freaked me out for a second.
Standard lock and key. Should be easy enough to pick.
We have a lockpick sets that are both only to be used if necessary and with a search warrant. Even then, it's a skill set rarely needed. Subtlety isn't a cop's priority if they have the authority to search the premises. Bolt cutters and brute force are the favored methods. If those fail, we call a locksmith. Me, I prefer the good old hairpin trick when those options aren't available. Besides, they're easy to hide and store for emergencies. Running my hand through my hair, I pull out a pair of bobby pins. Okay. Hairpin bobby pin? Two of these that I can just about open any standard lock. One makes a lever and the other makes a handle. I really hate this silence. It is so quiet. I hate the silence. It's uncomfortable. I wouldn't call it a complex skill, but it certainly takes a lot of time and practice to successfully pick a lock. Good thing I've practiced with them for a bit in my college years, and I learned more when they're accessible and standard issued for a law enforcement officer. A wiggle here and a click there, and I managed to seize all the pins and the locking mechanism soon enough. With a slight turn of the knob, the security room's ripe for the picking. Oh, God. Is that the ghost in the middle of that video? With Isabella at her desk, supposedly, I think. The room's odor hits me first. Oh, God, she's in here. She's in here. Oh, no. Sharp. Is she going to come through the freaking videotape like it's The Ring or some shit? A sharp, nauseating stench as if someone had accidentally spilled a gallon of bleach in the room. When was the last time they opened this place?
This place smells awful. Jesus, it's worse than the forensics lab on a bad day.
This is probably because of the badly botched effort to clean the place up. Even in the dark, I can spy dark stains on the wall. I really don't have the time to try and play Is This Ketchup or Soda right now, but I have a strange gut feeling that who the mess might belong to. As expected, no security personnel mans the office's CCTV controls, and the standalone DVR setup is open for anyone. Normally, I'd have a heap of things to say about the sloppy security setup, but right now, their negligence makes the whole task of erasing evidence easier.
No fuss, no muss.
That top middle video just flickered really bad, and it's freaking me out. The next one should be the access card data. Hopefully getting into their computer won't be too much of a hassle. Everything up to now has been smooth sailing. There have been hiccups, I'll give it that, though it does nothing to dampen the good mood I'm in. Once I shift my attention to the machine sitting next to the DVR setup, all of that swiftly evaporates. I'm no computer buff, but I can definitely recognize one more than a decade old. Simply looking at it makes me feel younger. Oh my god, I'm saving. I'm right there. With a heavy sigh, I power it up and mentally prepare myself for a slow slug. Slow apparently remains an understatement here. It takes a whole 3 minutes for things to start up, and the OS hasn't even started loading, and in my boredom, I start inspecting the live feeds from the cams. Only two works, one for the view outside and everything seems to be in order there, and the other for the main workspace where it's a fleeting glimpse, a cursory glance, and the sight of it stops me. The image is, a bit blurry, but standing right there in the middle of the room by one of the cubicles, I can make out a form of, it's getting bigger, and it's flickering more. Goddamn.
What the hell is...
I don't get too far into that line of thought. No few seconds after my words have slipped out with any sort of warning while I'm still trying to make sense of what it is. The figure moves. It's more like teleporting. Moment of paralysis hits me when she stops right in front of the camera like a damn rookie. I go still in the face of danger. I definitely haven't been trained to handle the supernatural, and this one, isn't it? And this is one, isn't it? And... oh fuck, her eyes bore into me, the malice in them piercing. Even beyond the screen, it's enough to make me go numb. Only the mug crashing to the floor when my hand accidentally takes a swipe at it snaps me out of the trance, reminding me that I'm not the only one here. Isabella, it seems she hasn't noticed anything, and am I the only one seeing this? In any case, whatever's happening, I have to get her out. Gathering my wits, I quickly reach for my phone. It takes but all 2 seconds before she answers, and there's no time for relief.
Did you really have to call? We're practically on the same floor.
Get out of there.
What? What are you...
Out. Get out. I'll meet you in the elevator. Just...
You're creeping me out, Ash.
Just get yourself out of that place, now!
Without second thought, I back away from the controls from the room, ready to be done with this place. But before my foot even moves, she disappears. I knew she was gonna pop through like the goddamn ring. What's this quick time event gonna be? Instinct instantly takes over and my hand quickly reaches for the gun at my side, only to meet empty air. A mistake that cost me a few precious seconds while the paperwork I've brought with me threatens to scatter everywhere at the same time. Gathering everything in myself once more with no weapon to protect myself, my sense of self-preservation kicks in and I lunge towards the door. Did he take the papers? I sprint across the office without daring to look back. Isabella's already waiting in front of the elevators by the time I make it out of the office. Worry creases her eyebrows upon glancing at me, but I don't have time to answer the question in her eyes. As soon as I reach her, I grab her arm, practically throw the two of us into the open elevator, and slam the button for the ground. A sigh of relief escapes me from when the elevator starts its descent. The clicking noise fades off into the distance. Besides me, Isabella shifts, moving the stack of papers under her arm while she takes in my appearance. Concern's in her eyes, though all I offer her is a small gesture of my hand while I attempt to compose myself. Breathe. In and out.
Why are we in such a hurry?
We need to get out of this place. Did you get everything?
Yeah, it's all here. But really, you don't look too good. What's wrong, Ash?
Everything.
I'll be fine. I was in the security room. From the monitors, there was a fucking...
The rest of what I'm about to say dies on my tongue when the elevator stops and the doors open too. There's a moment's pause while we both take in our surroundings, confusion understandably there.
Oh, come on! They should just replace this whole thing.
No, I'm quite sure I pressed for the ground floor.
Right? But it's just as Isabella said, the elevators always did have problems when I visited in the past. Often she becomes so angry whenever we get to her floor that she'll have to repeatedly smash the button for the elevator to even move. That was always for a laugh. I wasn't too worried then, but now, from the distance around the beyond the light's reach, the noise echoes in my ears along with the rapid pounding in my chest. Isabella stiffens and her eyes grow wide at the sound. Gingerly, she reaches up to grab the hem of my sleeve and grips it hard, tight enough for her fingernails to dig in. Her eyes searches wildly for the source of the sound while I stand protectively in front of her.
Ash, did you hear that?
Yeah, that's why he told you to get out.
Anyone there? I can hear you moving from here. Show yourself.
Why would you demand that, Ash? No response. No response, only the soft sound of something scurrying around the floor and the walls and slow, deliberate movements, faint, though still audible enough in this hush. I'm resaving. Until it stops. It always stops, and then she jumps. A moment.
We need to go, Ash. We have to.
And then, this time I'm certain it isn't my imagination. Against my training, my whole body freezes. Hands still mid-pressed on the button, eyes growing wide while waiting for any sort of movement from further back, and ears strained at the source of the sound. I can't even offer Isabella any reassurances, much as I hate to admit it. Dread has seeped into every nerve of my body. I can't even see her. And the blasted elevator still won't work.
This isn't in my fucking training manual.
Ash, we need to leave. I know that sound. Ash, please, get the elevator!
Another series of shuffling on the ground, a laughter, and all of a sudden she's just there. Like a twisted spider, she stares at us, a look of hunger in her eyes and venom in a twisted manner she smiles. A glee she has well earned when we're damn flies that have been dropped right into the spider's web.
Ashton!
Damn it! Damn it!
Without warning, she moves, mocking me with each unhurried crawl she takes, knowing I'm at her mercy.
Fucking hell!
Ashton, the door! The door!
Our lives are in the hands of a crummy elevator, literally hanging between life and death. We're not gonna die here, not in the damn elevator. Oh my god, 6, 9. Oh my god, no. Oh my god, I have to do more? 4, 8, 5, 9, 6. Oh my god, no. I'm dead. I'm dead. Just show it. Necrotic paralysis. I was trying to use my number pad, but my number keypad is locked, so I had to use my actual key. Oh my god, that was terrible. Let me move the keyboard. Let me move it closer so I can actually get a better... Yes, I want to continue. Okay, cool. 5, 7, 2, 8, 9. 2, 6, 5, 7, 4. 8, 1, 3, 9, 6. No! 4, 9, 8, 5, 7. Oh my god, this is so bad. I can't. Just get me again. I can't. I have to switch. I'm so sorry. Because it's going to start recording as soon as I do that. So I have to hit the number lock, stop recording, switch back. Now let's do this with the numbers that I know. Jesus. 5, 9. It won't let me? What? It won't let me. Are you kidding me? I have to do it with these keys, even with my number lock? Are you joking right now? I guess my number lock was on. What is happening? I am going to try something real quick. Am I crazy? Does it really need me to do the bigger one? Is this that stupid? Yeah, numbers are on. Why is this a thing? No. I can't. There's no way. Just get us again. Why do I have to do it with the actual keypad? This is so dumb. I'm about to, like, skip this shit because it's so dumb that I have to use the actual number pad. Okay. 8, 9, 5, 4, 6. 9, 3, 6, 8, 2. Oh my god. Nope. 6, 1, 5, 8, 9. 5, 6, 4, 1, 9. No! Oh my god. I cannot with this bullshit. This is such bullshit. Why is this such bullshit? I need to, like, get... How do people work with these key numbers? Like, you're supposed to use the number pad on purpose here. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 and 6 are gonna be over. Okay. 3, 8, 2, 5, 6. 4, 6. Nope. 5, 9, 7, 6, 4. 2, 4, 8, 1, 9. 7, 6. Nope. I had a 0. Nope, just get me. Just get me. This is ridiculous. Uno mas, I guess. Jesus. I might just end up skipping this because this is ridiculous. Okay, I don't need a 0. 4, 8, 2, 5, 6, 7, 4. Oh my god, 7, 1, 6, 9. Oh my god. 1, 6, 4, 7, 8, 6, 5, 9, 3, 1. Nope, we're dead. I probably could have gotten it, but I gave up. I gave up that time. Ah! This is like such a weird test of skill. 6, 7, 1, 2, 9. 3, 7, 6, 2, 8. 3, 5, 7, 9, 8. Oh no! 5, 1, 6, 4, 7. 5, 1. No! 3, 1, 9, 4. It's like if you miss even one. Oh my god damn. 7, 1, 6, 4, 2. 7, 1, 2, 8, 9. 8, 3, 2, 6, 5. 8, 7, 2, 9, 5. Oh my god! Finally! Finally! Oh my god, I cannot believe that was such... That was the worst QTE thing that they've done in this game. As if a divine power, me, I'm the divine power, thank you very much, has heard me swearing up a storm in my head, the doors close just as that thing looms near. Soon the elevator, the blasted thing, is headed up. Heated up. Oh my god, I burped. I apologize. That was a nervous burp, clearly. Isabella's knees buckle in relief. In 2 ticks, she's hugging herself without any care for the mess of papers and folders she's dropped on the floor in her panic. Speaking of, I need to take a sip. That was ridiculous. She draws in one ragged breath after another, each one brimming with nothing but relief. And this is the most I've been tired in my whole damn life. Not during training, when my superior first asked me to drop 100, not after a stakeout, but after smashing a fucking elevator button repeatedly. That's a great sentence. I slump to the ground beside her, worn out, but I don't let myself feel relief again, not until we're out of here. Isabella seems to be in the same mind as she looks to me. Still, I find myself sharply and sharing a shaky laugh with her.
We're okay. We're fine. Right?
After you died like 20 times because I don't know how to use normal number keys.
Yeah, we're good. Alive. Fuck, we should have taken the goddamn stairs.
That would have been worse. Twice I've seen it, thrice if I include the party, unless I'm tripping balls without realizing it. There's no doubt in my mind this is actually happening. I don't want to believe it, but with the truth staring me in the face, it'll be stupidity to deny the reality of the matter. It's so pretty outside. Nothing is wrong outside. Everything is great. Life is amazing, guys. Why did it start me off back here? Is it because I died? That was my bed. Game over. Unlocked. I'm glad I unlocked that. Thanks, guys. And journal entry. There's so much that happened this Saturday. It's insane. What a great photo of the two of them. As soon as the lift hits the ground floor, we hightail out of the building. Seb's sound asleep when we pass by his station. However, in the face of what we've seen, everything I've faced tonight, we really can't care less who will see us on our way out. The sooner we get away from this place, the farther the better. I'm just not sure if that also means being safe. She almost got us, damn it. The fucking thing almost had us. Shit, it was only by luck that we managed to get the fucking elevator unstuck, and had the blasted thing not worked in the last second, like I did over and over again. I need some air. Fresh, breathable air that doesn't stink like death and gore all at once. I'm panicking. Christ, what? Did I skip something on accident? No. Christ, losing focus with another person here. I can't afford that right now. Isabella hasn't said anything, but I know she's more shaken than I am. I can't lose it when another person's depending on me.
Remember your training, Frey.
Another deep breath, and soon I'm starting the engines and driving us off. After the little incident, somewhere open would be good. Someplace I won't get trapped. Of course, the park. Luxburn Park brings a welcome relief, though only by some. Can we, like... Thank you, little mouse. The chill that has seeped in my bones is still there, furling and unfurling underneath my skin. If I don't move, if I don't busy myself with anything, soon my brain will go haywire. It's the last thing I want to happen when there are plenty of things to do. But this already answers all of it, doesn't it? Those deaths? Just how many copies of the letter are out there? Isabella can't have the only one if other people are also getting cursed. Could it be the one that she has shown us is just one of 5, maybe even more? That whole pass this to 5 people business is ridiculous, but at this point, is it still? All in all, we found 21 people who might have read the letter, 7 of them deceased, 8 if we count Cooper, and that's only with what we can find right now. We have no idea how the contractors and specialists hired from outside the company are doing, if they were in any way affected. How many more people are suffering? How many more are missing? How many more are dead? Can I still even blame the Wrights for this? If anything, they might be in danger as well. I don't think I can wish a curse upon anyone, no matter how big of a douchebag Luke Wright is. There's also that woman. How do we get out of this mess? How did we get away from her? Shit, there's still so many things we need to look into, yet all my body wants to do is pace, burn out whatever excess energy there is in me.
I'm getting dizzy. Will you sit down?
No! What is that notification for? Excuse me? Excuse me, computer. Does now look like the time I click on the notifications and it says there's no notification? It's a liar. It's a liar. Oh my god, that was so stressful. Not gonna lie. I'm probably going to stop after this scene because it's already been 2 hours and I need to cook dinner. It's the first time Isabella has said anything. She's been sitting quietly since we dropped here. Better and less distracting than watching her nervous habits, I suppose. She certainly seems calm now. Too calm, in fact, for someone who's just seen something terrible. But it's been more than a week for her already. People do get desensitized to things at some point, even someone like Isabella. Who knows what's going on inside her head, though? Inside mine, there are too many and none of them would sit
I'm
still.
not going crazy, am I? I saw that. I'm pretty sure I saw that. I didn't inhale anything weird. Just shit. Shit. Isabella, please tell me that wasn't...
What I'm not expecting when I turn to her is mirth. Yeah, one thing that she could barely contain.
You're laughing. Why are you laughing?
I'm not quite sure what she sees in my face, but in the next second, a laugh suddenly bursts out from her. Oh, she's saying it.
I'm so sorry. It's just that you should have seen the look on your face back there.
Yes, right. Sure. I'm not the one who's panicked. You almost ripped my arm off.
Yeah, but...
Isabella, this isn't funny. We could have ended up dead.
They skipped that woman almost got us. Jeez, Ash, read your own lines.
I know. I'm really sorry. But this is just too precious to miss. You really lost your shit for a moment there.
I would laugh
You're
too.
trying to get back at me, aren't you?
No.
Well, I'm not the one who kept calling someone scared.
That
cat
is
for
true.
years.
I'm not scared.
Really? Because it doesn't seem that way to me. At all.
I'm not, all right?
I'm not.
I just don't know what to do right now.
Immediately after, the moment passes, replaced by another tense silence. Laughter dies on her lips as everything sinks in. We're in deep shit and it's finally caught up and hit us like a ton of bricks. Hit me more than anyone, yeah, because everyone else knew it. Because she has been warning us since day one, and I'm the first person who brushed it off. Despite that, she still reaches out to me, tugging at my sleeve almost desperately. Her hands are trembling, and there's a tremor in her voice when she speaks. Without the cheer, only fear remains. One that she has been burdened with from the beginning.
Still going to do something about it, right? Not just stand around and let that thing get us.
Unexpectedly, she leans her forehead against my arm, and her grip on my sleeve tightens. There's desperation in there, a quiet plea.
Don't lose anyone anymore, Ash.
I wish I could give her that promise, but with so many unknowns, so many things I don't understand, how could I? It feels like a little bit like Final Destination when you cheat death and death still comes for you. So what if that happens? What if they don't do anything to solve this, and then they just have to dodge this chick for the rest of their life? Why she still trusts that I can do something about this baffles me. It all feels holy and deserved, and considering the way I've treated her. Yet despite my reluctance, I find myself returning her hold in kind. A grasp, warm and light enough for comfort. Not a promise, but the closest thing to it. ... Sunday! That's actually a good time to cut it, because it's a new day. What's up with this music? What's up with this music? This is such a terrifying... Is he having a nightmare? I'm just going to save and we'll find out tomorrow what's happening. Because this is a little much right now. Such fun background music to end this too. But yeah, thank you everyone who watched, and I'll be back again tomorrow, probably around the same time. Unless I decide earlier, but I don't know. But sometime tomorrow for sure. And I doubt we're going to get through Ashton's story, considering how goddamn long it is. But hey, at least we'll make another 3% progress, right? So like to here? Maybe? I don't know. It's definitely a lot of content though. And thank you guys for sticking around, and I hope you enjoy it. And I'll see you then. Until then, bye guys.